Welcome back into Cooper Field as the Hoyas get ready to take on Holy Cross. As these two squads, again, you look at the teams here, guys, where the Hoyas looking for the winning record. Holy Cross on the season, 4-6 record, and really so close to being a better season than that, Emery.
When you have two teams coming in with a lot to play for, it makes for an exciting game. Despite the record, there's a lot on the line here for both coaches. I'm excited to see it play out.
And really, guys, it should be an interesting one because of the fact if the Hoyas and the Crusaders, if the Crusaders win today, they'll end up tied for second place in the Patriot League. And Joseph, I think that's one of the things Coach Chesney really was hoping for his team, another positive to build on.
Absolutely. He talked about how, as we know, it's his first season with Holy Cross. He talked about how it takes a while to learn your team. You go through the non-conference play before you get into conference play. This is a big momentum builder if he's able to start this season off with a win here. And another note quickly, both of these teams are really key. Like they go head-to-head in recruiting. So being able to go into the offseason with that momentum with a win can play big in recruiting.
Well, of course, we had some weather issues in our nation's capital this week. With more on that, the fourth member of our crew, Brandon Green.
Thank you, Jeremy. On Wednesday, we got hit with some snow here in the Washington, D.C. area, snow and ice. But it was a terrible field condition here on Wednesday. But as you can see, the Georgetown staff did a great job of getting this field in tip-top shape. And it is a beautiful day down here on the hilltop. But still, it is a little bit cold. But back to you guys in the booth.
And, of course, guys, that weather earlier in the week kind of hit the D.C. area a little bit by a little confusion there. They didn't know it was coming, at least to the extent it did. It was really bad a little more in the western area. For those of you may be familiar, the Dulles Airport area got a little bit more than they did down here. But, again, playing on turf shouldn't be too big of a deal. Of course, big playmaker for this Georgetown team all year long, Christian Tate, leads the Patriot League in sacks at 9.5. And Emery, of course, you got the this three-man crew here. You got the player analysis background. Again, Tate, a guy who defensive end, that kind of plays more, at least size-wise, as a defensive tackle.
Yeah, you talk about a guy that wins with leverage naturally because of his height, but when you combine his size and his natural ability to beat you off the spot quickly, it shows you that he has an offensive background, playing running back in high school and now making that transition to defensive tackle. He's become one of the stars in the league.
And the interesting note about that list, 4 guys on that list are in this game. Teddy Capsis, who was one of your players to watch, in addition to Owen Kessler and Wes Bowers. So you see the production, and this is one of the big reasons why Georgetown's been successful. 30 sacks on the season, which leads the Patriot League.
It's almost ready here. Hoyas in all white today. Holy Cross, the more traditional look with their purple helmets, purple jerseys, and white pants. Hurst to kick it off as Holy Cross to receive. Nicola back deep. It's a pooch kick. Could be an onside look here. Can the Hoyas get there? Someone's on the ball. Who is it? The official is going to point Georgetown's way, so the Hoyas with a big play to start things off on special teams.
It's an excellent way to start a football game if you're Georgetown because it catches Holy Cross by surprise, and you always want to stay ready up front along that first wall on the kickoff return units, but good job scouting by Georgetown, allowing them to go ahead on and make that move right here at the onset of the game and getting the recovery.
Angle there. We didn't see who came away with the ball, but the Hoyas, the important thing, basically stealing a possession, guys. As you come out of here, you have to kick off to start the game, but you're going to get it on both starts of the half, and a Georgetown offense that can use it. Here goes Johnson looking deep. Does he have a man? Incomplete as he was looking for Darius. Let's look at our offensive starters in this one. We start with the Hoyas of Georgetown. And, of course, folks, look out there. Herman Moultrie with the big game last week. First 100-yard rusher of the season for the Hoyas. Also, Mike Darius, the guy you just saw, held to just one catch against Bucknell. But we know he has the big play ability. 2nd and 10 for Georgetown at the Holy Cross 41. Man in motion. It's Tomas trying to get to the edge. Up the middle. There goes Tomas at the 30. Cuts it back. And he has first down yardage all the way inside the 25-yard line.
And, Jeremy, you look who they had in the backfield on that play. Christian Tate, who had a big block to set the edge and spring Tomas free. Tomas is an electric game breaker for this team. The more of him we see on the field, the better for this Georgetown offense.
Tate getting back to his offensive roots right there in the backfield like you brought up. And Tomas is the guy that I like a lot on this offense. They get him involved early in this ball game. It only bodes well for their chances throughout.
Really early in the season, Tomas was a big weapon for them. It's come down a little bit. Here's Moultrie up the middle. He will be brought down after a gain of 3. Let's take a look at those starters for Holy Cross. Up front, Neil Vorster, 2018 Patriot League preseason team, has blocked a kick in all 4 seasons of his career. Also in the back end, Joe Lang, the sophomore safety out of Naples, Florida. Big play guy, had 12 tackles last week in a win over Fordham. 2nd and 7 for the Hoyas. Moultrie remains in the backfield. Jackson, Williams, and Darius the receivers. Johnson's got to get rid of it. Finds over the middle Jewell, who is close to the sticks and just about a yard short.
What you're seeing now from Coach Chesney defensively is creative. He's putting Teddy Capps as his defensive end inside, allowing him to operate on the guard and try to get that quick pressure, which forced that quick throw, which is a great job by Gunther Johnson finding the open target over the middle of the field.
Remember, Hoyas with freshmen at the guard spots and Thomas and Azar. So 3rd and a long 1 here as Johnson will fake the handoff. Now he'll keep, gets up the middle, gets the first down, gets a little more. Johnson all the way down to the 3-yard line.
Huge play by Gunther Johnson on that read option, being able to make the first defender miss, and after that he was able to scamper for about 5-6 more yards. That's the kind of decision-making you need to see for Gunther Johnson as we take a look at the replay. Just making that defender miss in the backfield, all of a sudden he's got open space to run.
And guys, our first wrinkle looks like Isaac Schley has a baseball cap on today, not out there. Jules taking the primary tight end spot. On McHale out there as well for the Hoyas. A little wrinkle for Georgetown that they had to go to. Johnson off right tackle. Johnson reaches forward. He's in! Touchdown, Hoyas!
It's an excellent job right there. Just knowing that you weren't on the ground by Gunther Johnson, was able to roll over the top of the defender and stick the ball out. You talk about Isaac Schley on the side with a baseball cap. You saw him working pregame with the knee wrapped and maybe it was his thigh. So he's not 100%, but you see right there on the touchdown, getting in, falling on top of the defender. And that's a hard guy to break a tackle up in Teddy Capps. He put him in conflict early on in his series with the read option. He was able to get a touchdown right there.
So McBride on for the extra point. Hill on for the extra point. As Tomas holds. It's down, it's up, and it is good. And the Hoyas, what a start, Yosef, for Georgetown. The onside kick, then they cash it in.
Some of the success this Georgetown team had last week against Bucknell kind of foreshadowed what happened on this drive. What do we see? We see running the football. We see getting Gunther Johnson involved in the read option game as a runner. That really helps him get into a rhythm, into a flow, get some confidence going, and great way to start for Georgetown, being able to get that onside kick. They're going to get the opening kickoff in the second half. They already have this 7-point lead. Couldn't be better start for Georgetown.
That's exactly what you want if you're the Hoyas. And, Emory, this Hoya team has trouble scoring, so really stealing a possession and cashing it in, it's got to be huge for them.
And one thing you saw on that drive from Georgetown that you hadn't seen in quite some time is confidence. And when you are playing confident football, you're going to be more inclined to get things done and find a way. And we saw Gunther Johnson on that drive find a way to beat the guy one-on-one at the line of scrimmage, find a way to beat pressure in the pocket to find the open receiver. And that all is because of the confidence that he displayed on this drive. They're playing winning football. They're trying to get a winning season for the first time since 2011. And, again, if the confidence is high, it's a great opportunity for Georgetown to get that win.
So back deep, it's Roberts and Gilliam. This is angled toward the corner. Gilliam takes it just at the 1-yard line, comes back, looking for some space and doesn't find it, and finds a hard hit instead. Taken down on the play. Walton finished him off. Mello Walton, the backup safety, and guys, what a lick put on right here.
It's a good job right there. Good stick right there by Georgetown. Let's see what Holy Cross offense comes out and does on the series, because you look at their offense, they're built a lot of the same way as Georgetown is, especially up front.
So coming out, it's Miles Alexander will start. Dominic Cozier, their normal back, as Alexander takes this one off. Left tackle brought down by Tate. Cozier got banged up in the Fordham game. I'll have to keep an eye out for him. Let's take a look at those offensive starters for this squad from Holy Cross. The quarterback, Jeff Wade, guy has been in and out, played pretty well last week despite some tough conditions against Fordham. Keep an eye out for him, as well as the receiving core, Martin Dorsey, Derek Mountain, 2 big play guys for the Crusaders. 2nd and 8, Wade looking for the swing pass, finds it to Alexander. He's got some space and has a first down as he's banged out of play by Agee. Defensive starters in this one for Georgetown. Big play, folks, for the Hoyas. Christian Tate, we've talked about it, double multi-sack games in all the Hoyas conference wins this year. Xavier Reddick, the player of the week defensively in the Patriot League last year with the 2 tackles for loss, also a sack and an interception, also a forced fumble, and Wes Bowers always the steadfast man in the middle for the Hoyas. Issues with the chains. Holy Cross is going to get to snap it anyway. Wade takes it up the middle and gets smashed for his troubles.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to find a lot of success running downhill against this Georgetown defense. Any success in a running game will have to come outside on the perimeter.
Last time these two met was last year up in Worcester, Mass, as Holy Cross won 24-10, their 3rd straight win in the series. Hoyas won back-to-back contests in 2013 and 14. Hoyas showing pressure. They come with it. Wade looking. He's hit and swallowed up for the sack all the way back at the 20-yard line.
Kessler was on that list of the top sack leaders in the Patriot League, coming off the edge there. Georgetown was in a zone, but the pressure got there too quickly, took down Wade before he could make a decision.
See right there, Tate doing a great job on the far side, on the near side, closing that door to allow Kessler to get a little bit more aggressive and turn that corner and get Wade on the ground.
I tell you what, he's one of those joker types, I think they like to call it, the NFL level, where he can play the line, can play backer, really throws those personnel groupings you're trying to match to for the offense really out of whack. So 3rd and long here, have to go all the way out to the 39, little past it for first down. Wade has time, throws it. He'll be completed near the sticks, but unfortunately the momentum takes Bell out of bounds about 3 yards short.
Yeah, I think Bell kind of lost where he was on the field there. He had no one near him and probably could have stayed in bounds and turned upfield and picked up the first. But good job by Georgetown's defense getting off the field here in that 3rd down situation.
Boy, it's got to put some personnel on as they'll go with their safe punt here. It's about 2.5, so could easily be a fake here for Holy Cross that they want to gamble. But Cody Wilkinson on to punt. Only punted a few times last week against Fordham, as Brown will let this one bounce and takes the Holy Cross bounce all the way down inside the 20 as they'll mark it actually inside the 10. So a great roll for Cody Wilkinson.
Well, this is the part where you want to see Georgetown's offense and how they handle backed up offense. We've seen them handle a short field. We've seen them handle coming off of a turnover. This is a part of the field where they have to continue to make strides as a football team, an offensive football team, and play backed up offense well and get out of the shadow of their own end zone.
So the white-clad Hoyas coming out. Very nice day. It's cool here in D.C., but the sun is out. That's the most important thing. Backup quarterback in the game as they'll hand off. It'll be Moultrie off tackle, and that was Jawan Watson in at quarterback. So let's see. Did Johnson get hurt? Actually, that's just going to be a one-play thing, I believe, as Gunther's back out now. So I guess the Hoyas want to get the senior a snap on senior day. Holy Cross 4-6 on the year, trying to get to 5-6. Again, they had so many close calls this year against some good teams. Had some good wins as well. Moultrie takes it, cuts it back. Moultrie brought down up near the 15-yard line.
What I like about Moultrie, and I know you can appreciate this as a running back yourself, Emery, but his contact balance. You see he's able to keep his footing as he makes the cut. The tackler's trying to bring him down, but he's able to keep his head up, power forward through the initial hit, and pick up yardage and set up a really nice situation here on 3rd and 5.
Hoyas need to get it out to the 21 for a first down. Again, they will move Jewell across the formation. And again, Moultrie will run it. And it'll be stacked up after minimal gain, so Hoya's playing it safe there. They're going to punt it away.
Teddy Capsis so far in this ball game for Holy Cross has been a problem for the front line of the Hoyas. They have an issue with getting him blocked. He's been in or close to making virtually every tackle in the running game. He had his hand on the defender, on the ball carrier. He's also been in the backfield a lot. I like how he's playing so far in this ball game. He's winning a lot of one-on-one battles.
So Hurst will punt it away. Of course, we know Hurst has a big leg. Back deep, it's DiNicola. Hurst, some pressure comes, but they'll have time. It's a high kick. DiNicola will call for the fair catch. Inside is 40, right around the 37-yard line. So Crusaders will scrimmage from there, 1st and 10. And, of course, after the onside kick on the first play of the game and then a pretty much 3 and out after a sack, things kind of evening out a bit now for the Crusaders.
Yeah, everything kind of levels out and gets back to neutral once the emotions have really cleared and settled down. So we'll see if their offensive line can do a better job on this series of keeping that pocket a little bit cleaner for Jeff Wade.
Last week, Holy Cross, a 17-13 winner over Fordham in a game that Bob Chesney said, hey, the win was so terrible we really didn't have a chance to do anything unless you were going with the win, and luckily his team got some scores late to get the victory. This is Cozier in, and he's brought down in the backfield by Icott, actually lunges forward 4 yards.
Good job by Cozier. The way the play was initially run, it was run to the right, but he put his foot in the ground and was able to reverse left, get some positive yardage out of the play.
Georgetown has some excellent linebackers, man. These young guys, Kessler, Bowers, Icott, Fontenot is a freshman. Nix is another one. They're very good at the second level.
Patrick Pastor in the game. Brennan Sawicki as well, along with Bird at the nose. Over the middle, DiNicola incomplete. Low throw came from Wade. Again, that was one of the things that I think a lot of the folks Emory had said about Wade was didn't really throw the ball with conviction early in the season.
Yeah, when you're guessing out there and thinking while you're playing and going through the motions, those are the type of things that happens. You will short hop a couple of passes, maybe airmail a couple of other ones, but you have to really be confident. If you're going to make a bad throw, make it convincingly and confidently. You don't want to have situations like that where you miss an opening guy.
It's now a 3rd and 9. Need to get it out to the 47 for a first down. Boy, a defense again showing pressure. They'll rush 4. Wade gets away from the first, completes it, finds Dorsey trying to drag the tackler forward, but he can't do it. He'll still be about 3 or 4 yards short. A nice play, and now a man is down, and it looks like Dorsey and Rob Scarlatta is waving over to the other side. And you know if the other team's coach is doing that, it's maybe not a good situation.
Do like there by Wade, just evading pressure, stepping up into the pocket, making an off-platform throw, an accurate throw right there, and just missed an opportunity to get the first down.
Cameron Dean was on play and made the tackle, and, you know, Emory, you're old enough at least to remember the highlights of, you know, the situation with Lawrence Taylor and Joe Theismann. Obviously not saying that happened here, but that wave of Rob Scarlatta kind of putting everything aside, teammate to teammate, saying, hey, guys, get over here. So we hope everything's okay. It looks like actually it is, so that's good news there. As I saw the waving real quick, I was worried, but Dorsey is up, and hopefully we'll see him back in the game soon.
You know what probably happened? He probably fell on the football the way he was carrying it, and you know that feeling is the worst feeling in the world. You cannot breathe at all. You fall on the football.
Yeah, it is losing that breath is not a good place to be.
Especially when it's cold outside.
So again, Wilkinson on to punt. You see Holy Cross with this somewhat unconventional punt formation. Looks like more like an offensive formation with 3 guys kind of outside the framework of the punt team. Wilkinson boots this one away. Another low kick. Brown's going to let it bounce, and another Holy Cross bounce will pin the Hoyas deep, as they will pin it deep inside the 5-yard line down near the 1.
My goodness, this special teams might really help Holy Cross get into this game after a tough start with the onside kick attempt being recovered by Georgetown, and Georgetown able to score the touchdown. 2 punts that have been really deep inside Georgetown territory, and Emory talked about how Georgetown can really execute offensively when they've got good field position, but when they're backed up inside their own territory, a lot tougher to do what they need to do.
Yeah, Cody Wilkinson, the punter, is a legit weapon today, man. To get those punts to turn over like that, that's very hard to do. That takes a lot of talent, and he definitely has that.
So let's see what the Hoyas can do as they're on their own 1-yard line. Johnson keeps. Does he get out of the end zone? I don't think he does. That's going to be a safety. Holy Cross gets the field position and takes advantage.
And look at the two guys that were in on that play, Ryan Brady and Teddy Capsis. Once again, those two guys finding a lot of real estate in the backfield of Georgetown. They're having an issue right now blocking up front against number 91 Capsis. He's done a great job of whipping that guy one-on-one. You're going to see right here on the replay, just beating his guy to the spot, getting in the backfield, along with number 93 Jake McCardell. Those guys are just flat out balling right now for Holy Cross's defense.
It seems like early on that punt return game hurting the Hoyas. We know Brown's the smart decision maker back there. Emory, obviously, of the three of us, you're the only guy that's returned some punts in your game. What do you do if you're Brown? Obviously, you don't want to turn the ball over, but they're getting way too much of a roll on those punts.
Yeah, you have to really get underneath it once that ball leaves the foot of the punter. If you're not judging it right off the bat, you're going to find yourself second-guessing, well, maybe I should let it just roll. But leave to no chance by just getting underneath it right away, and that way you give yourself a little bit more wiggle room to decide whether or not you want to maybe fair catch or, let it bounce and roll. You can then judge how the ball is falling and be able to tell if it's going to roll or bounce straight up or bounce in your favor. Me, I never called fair catch. I always wanted to return yards, so there was no fair catch. But I do understand why some guys are a little bit hesitant. They misjudge it coming off the foot of the punter.
You know what's interesting is Wilkinson, his punts, they're not like Hurst has high hang time on his punts. Wilkinson, his punts are a little bit more line drive-ish, so maybe that's why Brown kind of second-guessed himself on the fair catch.
So will be fielded by Gilliam inside his 20, up the middle's got some space, and he may be gone. Gilliam at the 35-yard line, got to get by Hurst. Can he do it? Gilliam will be brought down inside the 5-yard line, but Holy Cross turning this game around with special teams.
Love the return right there. And one thing that's very underrated about kickoff return, and you saw Spencer Gilliam do exactly that, just hit the lane full speed. Too often you see guys want to stop and make guys miss or change direction. You can't do that on a kickoff return. You got to catch and go. He did that exactly how you draw it up, which is why he had an outstanding return. He's going to get chided in the film room because he got caught from behind, but you want to see him score right there, just a little bit short. But excellent return nonetheless.
Good job by Goldwire hustling to tackle him short of the end zone. Now if you're Georgetown, you have to try and hold him to a field goal here.
The ball's on the 2-yard line, 1st and 10 for Holy Cross. Really got nothing going on offense so far, but they're on the verge of having a lead in this game. They can punch it in from 2 yards out. Wade at quarterback, hand off to Alexander up the middle, trying to push forward. He'll be pulled back by Christian Tate, who got the shirt tail and wouldn't let go.
Like I said, you can't find success, or you're not going to live running the football up the middle against Georgetown. They're stout up front. Despite being a little bit undersized, they play technically sound, and they do a great job of occupying gaps. And right there, you saw a great example of that. That hole was clogged up, stopped them right in the backfield for a loss.
So actually, losing a yard on the play. Hoya is moving around a bit. Alexander goes up the middle again. He's stuffed. May have got some positive yardage as they push him back last second. Actually looks like they're going to move back a little bit. The chain gang messing with me a little bit, guys. But, it's nothing doing up the middle.
Emory talked about how great these linebackers are for Georgetown. That time you see Xavier Reddick blowing up the play, tackling the ball carrier in the backfield. Talked about the phenomenal game that he had last week at Bucknell, and he's continuing on that trend.
So offensive coordinator Pat Murphy sending things in. Of course, he was the Georgetown offensive coordinator for about 2 months earlier this year before taking the job at Holy Cross. They'll fake it, keep up the middle, and nothing doing as Reddick and a host of Hoyas. Ball's loose. Are they going to blow it dead? They will. Luckily for Holy Cross, because Bowers was out in front, the Hoyas still get the stop, and Holy Cross will send on the field goal unit.
I know Coach Chesney is highly frustrated because you had the ball inside the 3-yard line, and to see your offense go back 3 consecutive plays, and this time just a great job up front defensively, just clogging space and making the quarterback have to hesitate before he decides where he wants to go. So Georgetown's defense was up to the challenge on this particular series, but I know Coach Chesney is highly upset at what his offensive line wasn't able to do on this drive inside their 3-yard line.
So now Ing on to kick the field goal, and he will boot it through, but the Crusaders won't take the lead as that Georgetown defense has been stout all year long. They do it again right there.
Jeremy, I can't stress how huge that play was by Jalen Goldwire, number 41, to run back to tackle Gilliam as he was about to cross the end zone on that kickoff return. Kind of brings back shades of Champ Bailey, Ben Watson on that return in that playoff game way back. Watson being caught, I believe it was by Bailey, but Goldwire doing the same thing there. And knowing that this defense can stop the run game the way that they can, huge play there by Goldwire.
Well, it's funny, guys. I used to coach a little youth football back in the day, and the guy I coached with, he would always say to the kids, and it's anything that goes through all levels of football, make them snap it again. If you make them snap it again, you got a chance. If you let them score, you don't. And daggone it, if Jalen Goldwire didn't follow that advice to quick screen, Tomas looking for some space. He'll be stopped and brought down after a gain of 5, well short of the sticks.
I really like when Georgetown utilizes Josh Tomas in this offense. Great jump there by Brady, though, to really on that blitz to make Gunther force the ball out so wouldn't be able to take a shot downfield. But I think the more Josh Tomas we see in this offense, the better for Georgetown. He's one of those dynamic, modern weapons like you see in the NFL and across college football, guys you can use in reverses and the screen game. So more Josh Tomas, the better.
Good high kick. DiNicola taken back to his own 10, trying to find a spot, and Goldwire brings him down.
Talk about flipping field position. I'm looking at that punt. I'm thinking, okay, that one I might have called fair catch because that one was a little bit too high, and that one was where you want it to be as far as the punter is concerned. Just a great job flipping field position because Holy Cross did their job on the defensive end and really limiting what they were going to do, and this punt backs them up inside the 10-yard line.
I think they gave him a good spot. I mean, he was going back, but kind of went there on his own volition, then ended up coming forward. So the Crusaders will start from their own 10-yard line, 1st and 10. 2 minutes to go in our first quarter. Over the middle, got a man, got a big play. This is DiNicola at the 50-yard line, trying to chase him down. He'll get brought down and knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
Well, that's how you flip field position back if you're Holy Cross. Great job right there. And once he caught that football, you saw no one back deep, caught Georgetown in the man defense and was able to outrun them to the inside the 35-yard line. It's a great job right there, just flipping field position back if you're Holy Cross.
So after that early struggles, Holy Cross finding their way a little bit, but again, the run there, and now their third-string running back, Peter Oliver, takes the minimal gain.
With Wade, they're using a lot of that read option that you see with Philadelphia Eagles, for instance, to kind of generate easy reads. So on that last play to DiNicola, he was able to see that they were in man and get the pass to him, and DiNicola using his speed to get there. It's a key part of this offense here for Holy Cross.
Hoyas showing pressure. They'll bring it. Wade, quick pass, tip, picked off! That's Agee trying to cut back. Across the field, he does. Gets away from some linemen. He's still going, looking to pitch it. He'll get brought down by Wade, but not until he takes it to almost the 35-yard line. And it's funny, guys. A couple weeks ago, I was at practice, and I saw the Hoyas. They had the DBs working on the pitch. You could see there, Emery, he was trying to shove it off and get it to take it to the house.
Once you realize you ran out of speed, you turn around and find somebody else to finish the drill. Just a great job up front, knocking that ball up in the air. And we've seen Georgetown do a great job of playing team defense and finding the football to get the interception.
I thought it was Duval Paul who initially got his hand up, but on the replay you saw it was Xavier Reddick. Good job in pursuit, having the instincts to get his hand off, and this defense is opportunistic.
Moultrie got to cut it back, and he'll get hit and brought down as it looked like he had a seam, but it closed quickly as the linebacker Jack Haddon came up and makes the play for a minimal gain.
I tell you what, man, both of these defenses are great open field tackling defenses. Not a lot of missed tackles you see coming from within the front seven here on both sides.
Yeah, back to that point on the laterals. It was after that blocked extra point against Lehigh. They were able to go ahead and take that back off the lateral. As Goldwire found Bowers. They've kind of been working on it since. Johnson gets away from the first. Pressure, can't get past the second as the defensive tackle Vorster takes him down for a big loss.
Senior laden group, McCardle, Vorster, and Capps is right there, just causing a lot of problems. You brought up the fact that they do have freshman guards here at Georgetown, and that's what's going on. That's why they're having a lot of success up front.
End of the first, Hoyas up by 2 here on Patriot League on Stadium. Welcome back in to our nation's capital in Cooper Field. Georgetown with a 7-5 lead on Holy Cross. Crusaders getting a safety as well as a field goal. Let's set it down to the fourth member of our crew, Brandon Green.
Thank you, Jeremy. We know Christian Tate as a force at 6 foot, 280 pounds. He is leading the Patriot League in sacks. Now, let's just imagine Tate about 30 pounds lighter and lighting up at tailback. That's what he was doing at Colvin Academy, where he rushed in his senior year for 1,000 yards on 49 carries. That's about 20 yards per carry. And at 250 pounds, he led his team to an undefeated championship run. But Tate is a player on all of our radars, and he shouldn't be that hard to spot because after every big play, he puts up the shark fin. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you much, Brandon. And now the Hoyas going to go ahead and punt it away as pressure came, and Johnson got it close, but like Holy Cross was all over that one.
Exciting pace to this game, man. I love the back and forth. They've made plays offensively, defensively, special teams wise. This is a great game. Two teams, like I said in the open, that are playing for something, that have a lot on the line here, and I'm excited to see these guys continue to compete at this high level.
So Hurst takes his time. I think that might have gone off one of his up backs. It's going to take a Holy Cross roll now sideways, and eventually it'll be just kind of cattled out of play by Ahmad Wilson. And again, I don't know about that, guys. We may see it on the replay, but it looked like Hurst, when he went to punt that one away, it might have caught the backside of one of his up man.
You'll see right here on the replay. Yeah, hit it right off the helmet. The accuracy of those punters, man.
He definitely has a deliberate pace when it comes to his punts, and that time I think Holy Cross did a good job of getting to those up men and pushing them back just a little bit. Wade up the middle, picks his way through, and gains 4 on the play.
Job by Wade selling that hesitation as if he was going to pass and then darting through the open hole to pick up some positive yardage here.
Yeah, that's the only way you're probably going to have some success running downhill against his defense is misdirection, influence plays, things of that nature, because if you're just trying to straight beat them one-on-one up front, it's going to be tough because of what they do from a core strength level here at Georgetown.
Boy is going with a light look up front, playing Kessler down. Picking his way through is Alexander, and he's just across the chains for a first down. So Kessler there, and of course it's one of the things they can do because of the fact that they have really a lot of multiple pieces.
I love the athleticism up front by Holy Cross's offensive line. These guys get left to right pretty quickly. They're not afraid to get out and pull with those big guards and their big offensive tackles.
Wade looking out in the flats, got a man deep. Can he hit him? He will not, keep it inbounds. He's looking for the wide receiver, Tenio Ieni, and just couldn't keep it in play.
He broke free right as Wade got to where he could set up his launch pad spot and fire an accurate pass. That's a play he has to hit. That receiver did his job, broke free down the sideline. It's a touchdown waiting to happen. There was no one about 25 yards near him on that particular play.
So Crusaders will take another crack at it on second down. Ball at the 35-yard line. Hoyas again showing pressure. It comes, picked up, looking deep again this time. Looking for a man, and incomplete again as he was trying for Dorsey. Dean on the coverage.
Sticky coverage there by Dean. Dorsey is their go-to guy. Guys made a number of key catches for this team over the course of this season, and just off the fingertips. But how about Cameron Dean there being able to stick with him the entire way?
A couple flops up front. The really Holy Cross kind of sticks with that same main personnel. Bell, see Ianni some, but see DiNicola, see Dorsey out there a lot. So let's see where they go here. They'll go to 5 wides as Alexander goes split out. Wade looking for the screen. Ball's loose. Who comes up with it? They're going to say that's a fumble. Ball was still loose. And maybe they're going to now say it's incomplete. As it looked like the Hoyas had jumped on it, but the side referee came in and said, no, that ball was an incomplete pass. And now Georgetown the man down. That's Jethro Francois, but he'll pop up.
So heads-up play right there. They felt the screen coming, so they were able to not get so influenced up the field or sucked into the quarterback, and therefore they were in great position to make that play. A coach told me once before, like, hey, if you get into the backfield so quickly, you're not that good. It's a screen coming right behind you. Be heads up, and that was a heads-up play right there by the Hoyas defense.
Was a little delayed getting on the field, but the umpire, of course, as he's supposed to do, stops Holy Cross because they substituted. Georgetown gets their chance as well. Wilkinson to punt again. This one low. And Brown's going to let it bounce. This time not as good of a Holy Cross bounce, but it will roll dead just outside the 20-yard line. So Hoyas will scrimmage from there. And now Rob Scarlata getting to the ear of his senior. I think he's seen about enough of letting it bounce and roll.
Well, here's what happens when you don't make the play that's there to be made. Now you're forced to punt if you're Holy Cross. That was a touchdown. That could have been a game-changing play. Make the plays that are there to be made, because the next play could be detrimental to what you're trying to do.
A few minutes gone here in the second quarter. Georgetown with the lead. This is Moultrie trying to bounce to the outside. You see the eye vision there. Just kind of took his time until something came open.
Good job by Moultrie. He's so impressive. Just the patience there, waiting behind his blockers to get them in position and always getting positive yardage. Only a 3-yard gain, but still it keeps you on schedule, keeps you ahead of the sticks, and helps your quarterback in the later downs have easier completions, open up the playbook a little bit more to have more options.
Gain of 3 on the play. Johnson fakes, rolls out, looking for a man, has to put this one into the bench, as I think he was looking for his tight end Jewel, but again, well covered by the Crusaders.
It's a great job right there by Holy Cross. That was a tight cover forward look. They didn't really bail out of their back pedal. They played everything in front of them and was in position to make that stop, which they did.
Teddy Capps is blocking out the sun there for Gunther in pursuit.
He wasn't fooled, man. That guy right there has a bright future ahead of him. He's going to be playing on Sundays, in my opinion.
Capsis came into this game with 11 tackles for loss and 6 sacks, and now Hoyas jumping. Jelinek can't hold his water as Holy Cross was moving up front. And that is something that the Hoyas have done a better job of this year, just the not negative plays. But right there, you can't give that one away. Makes this a real tough third down.
I'm just going to channel my inner Mike Nieberg here and say, where is Michael Darius? Where has he been?
Tried to go to him once earlier, not much there. So now a 3rd and 12. Johnson, 4-man rush, throws this deep, looking for Darius, has to come back. Incomplete, but there comes the flag as Holloman put the arm on him, didn't let him come back, and the Hoyas will get a free 15.
You ask where Michael Darius is. I think Coach Spence was asking the same thing. The offensive coordinator dialing up a shot deep. And even if you're not completing that pass all the time, you're still forcing pressure on the defensive back to make a play. That pass was thrown 3-4 yards short. Darius, good job trying to come back to it, forcing the defensive pass interference there by Holy Cross.
You wonder if Gunther Johnson didn't get hit in the ribs there. Had he put that ball out in front, it would have been a touchdown. Just a great release by Darius. He's one of the best players in the Patriot League at the position. I know a lot of focus goes to Lafayette and Lehigh for what they do on the perimeter, but Darius is one of the best guys out there at receiver in the Patriot League.
Such a weapon, 6'1", 210. Can run as well. Returned to kickoff against Holy Cross a few years ago. Here's Johnson, one-on-one, makes the man miss, getting to the outside. Johnson, first down yardage, as Guns were able to shake Jack Haddon out of his shoes.
Watch this replay. He put him in the blender. He hit him with an old 1-2 left hook and then spun around and left him standing there, taking a picture, posing for the fans. You see right here, just a great read, one-on-one in space. It's basketball season. That's a heck of a spin move off the defender. He was on his way down the sideline, but that's the type of confidence you want to see from the quarterback making plays in the running game to help himself out to get on track throwing the football.
Didn't have a chance to ask, but Haddon also from Arizona, one of those guys hooked up on the football field back in high school. Here's the quick pass. Good gain there as Max Edwards gets up the field for a gain of 8.
Like the tempo of this Georgetown
And
offense.
they didn't blow this dead. He's going to keep going. He's going to go in. Are they going to call this a touchdown?
My goodness.
That's a touchdown. Everybody stopped. The whistles never blew. That's going to be a touchdown, folks. Wow.
Everyone here from fans, coaches, everyone's just kind of like waiting to see what's going on. I just don't – no one knew what was going on. You didn't hear a whistle.
Blew. Yeah, it's you play on until you hear a whistle. And I think they're going to say he was on top of another player.
I think
now, right there, it looked like Brady had his progress stopped.
Right. They probably could have called the stop there.
So we'll go ahead and bring on Oliver Hill. And now I don't know what the referee's doing because they don't have replay to use here. So it's call on the field stands.
It's going to get some clarification.
Yeah. So referee's saying, as we'll see it again, folks, he goes down. He's on top of Brady, I believe.
Yeah, he's on top. And right there you thought, okay, maybe forward progress will stop. But he kept fighting, and he didn't hear a whistle. He looked back, and he's out in front.
So here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. So it has been a weird one, but a good one for the Hoyas. Credit the sophomore Max Edwards with the heads-up play of the year as he doesn't stop on the whistle, and he scores a touchdown.
Coach tells you play till the whistle blows, and you didn't hear a whistle, so you have to keep playing. And it's tough because you don't want to get a penalty if he slams him to the ground or if another guy comes and tackles him. But you also don't want to give up a touchdown. So I can understand both sides here. Just a weird play.
When Edwards was sitting on top of Brady there, you saw him like explode upwards and trying to break through. He's able to break that initial tackle, paused for a second, and then when he realized that here's what I'm talking about right here. So you see the screen right here, Edwards right here, Brady tackle. He rolls up on top of him, and look at the legs right there, exploding himself upwards. He doesn't think he's down, so he's exploding, and then he's able to accelerate all the way through. Like you said, Jeremy, heads-up play, perhaps of the year, big-time play by Edwards.
And as Emery said, you're in a tough position because of so much more when it comes to safety and all these things now. You can't go ahead and top him off because you might get a 15-yard penalty. But, again, if you're Brady, you kind of got to hold him there until he just ends up on the ground. And maybe what you do, and this is an old defensive line, I did this, you kind of go just be safe about it and just hold him there. You don't kill him, but just make sure he goes to the ground. This one is going to be taken at the 1-yard line. This is Gilliam again trying to pick his way through. This time brought down at the 25-yard line. And little extracurriculars after the play, a few different ones. And now the Hoyas trying to get their guys out of play. Looked like Francois was in the middle of it. So chippy in this one. And I can tell you, if you're Holy Cross, you got to be frustrated right now. And giving up a play like that, kind of a lucky break.
Well, here's the thing. Their offense can come back out, and make amends and try to find a big play downfield. They only went downfield once in this ball game, and we saw it was an incomplete on the far side of the field. But this is where they want to try to get this game under wraps. There's a lot of wild plays that have happened so far in the first half, a game's worth of wild plays. And if you're Holy Cross, you've been on the losing end of those so far in this half. So you have to come out, establish dominance, and try to make some big plays in the passing game. They have big receivers. They have the matchup here on the outside.
And the tip ball that Georgetown used to snuff out a series for Holy Cross. So Wade hands off to Alexander, taken down in the backfield as that Hoya front all over them again. And guess who? Christian Tate.
Talked about him in the open. His pursuit, his ability to get in the backfield and make plays. He's been all over the field, not only this game, but all season really for this Georgetown team. Tough to run on defensive line that has him up front.
Christian Tate has just been so fantastic. Even when he came in as a freshman, he knew he was doing some things, and he's only gotten better. 2nd and 15, looking over the middle. That's picked off again. Hoyas with another interception, trying to take it in. Wilson, he'll pitch it away, going and getting into the end zone or very close. Is it a touchdown? It is! Hoyas on the board. Ramon Lyons off the pitch off from Ahmad Wilson. Hoyas opportunistic and with an even bigger lead.
Two things I look for defensive players if you're talking about the NFL or what have you, but the essential core principles: can you score? Can you take the ball away? We saw Georgetown do a great job of taking the ball away. They were trying to run the slant wheel route behind it, but it was just well played by Ahmad Wilson, who just didn't break coverage and was able to pick the ball up and had the wherewithal to find his teammate right there for the lateral and got in for the touchdown.
And Lions taking it all the way in. So I tell you, sometimes necessity is the mother of invention. Who knows if not for that blocked extra point run back, but the Hoyas have put an emphasis on it. It's helping them win games, looking to pitch it to your teammate when you're in open space. Kick is up. They're going to blow this one dead. They're going to have a penalty flag down, so might be a false start. It will be. Officials' mic not working so well today.
So funny, though, Jeremy, because you were telling that anecdote, how you saw that they were working on that tip drill in practice, and lo and behold, it plays a big impact here. And you mentioned the Wes Bowers play from the block extra point a few weeks ago. Same deal. It's made a real impact for this team.
Yeah, talked to Wes after practice, and he said, we're kind of working on it now because it worked for us once, and credit the Hoyas coaching staff. It's come through in spades. This one is up, and this one through. Again, we've mentioned it before when it comes to the kicking game. Hill's taken over because he's accurate from in close and shows that there again is the Hoyas with a 21-5 lead.
Well, what happened on that play, it was a great play call because you're taking advantage of a defense's aggressiveness. So you had the slant wheel come behind it, but what happened was Ahmad Wilson read the eyes of Jeff Wade, didn't get out that coverage. They expected him to bust completely out on the flat route and cover the wheel, but he didn't move, which kept him right in the passing window. You can see right there, they're looking at it completely. He saw the combination coming, didn't get out of his area. They were able to pass that route off on the backside to the safety, which put him in that position to where he was essentially an unaccounted for defender, made the interception. So gamesmanship within the game, just excellent football IQ right there by Ahmad Wilson.
And we asked head coach Rob Scarlatta, hey, Pat Murphy was on your staff for basically 2 months. You know, is there any type of things he could be learned from you? You learn from him. And he's like, look, you know, we kind of know each other. And to truth be told, Kevin Doherty, our defense coordinator, coached with him before. So they're going to have an idea which either one's doing. You talk about football as a chess match sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's a good move there for the Hoyas. Maybe not checkmate. It's still early, but a big play by Georgetown.
We have a Martin Dorsey player profile if you want to throw it to it.
So here's Hurst kickoff, and this one is going to take a left turn, but it'll be short, picked up by Gilliam, trying to get through the traffic. He's still on his feet, and this might be a big play for Holy Cross. Somehow Gilliam still going, eventually dragged down by Hurst at the 40-yard line. Let's send it down to Brandon Green.
Thank you, Jeremy. When the game gets close, Holy Cross coach Bob Chesney says he relies on one player over all of them, and that is wideout Martin Dorsey. Dorsey always steps his game up. In the biggest game against Bucknell, he had 10 receptions for 167 yards. And then their biggest game against Harvard, he had 6 receptions for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then last week against Bucknell, Martin gave Holy Cross the lead in the third quarter with a touchdown catch, and that would end up being the last touchdown of the game. So if this game gets close, make sure you guys watch out for Mr. Dorsey. Now, back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Brandon. So Gilliam has the Holy Cross offense set up with some of their best field position of the game. After those back-to-back Hoya big plays, gave them some space. This is Oliver up the middle. Hit and brought down. Actually pops out of the pile, still moving and not brought down until the 40-yard line, just past it. So Peter Oliver, credit him with the second effort. Oliver, the freshman out of Auburn, Massachusetts. His dad played for Boston College and the Jets. Also is the strength coach at Holy Cross, and he's learned his lessons well.
That explains it, because he carried the entire district on that particular run.
So it's 2nd and 3. Still 10 minutes to go in the quarter, so Holy Cross with plenty of time. Wade, quick pass out in the flat. Doesn't get much, but he should have the first down on the completion to DiNicola.
Yeah, here's the thing. You can't get it all back in one play. So I love the pace right here for Holy Cross. You're only down 2 plays, 16 points. Just try to find success, stack positive plays back-to-back, and that's how you fight your way back into a ball game.
Wade gets to the outside, looking to throw, slings one, incomplete as he was looking for Bell.
Good job getting Wade on the move. He had the guy, Bell, you mentioned in the open there, Emery, open, just overshot him a bit. Seems like he struggles a little bit throwing on the run, does Wade. He's had a few opportunities. The deep shot that he overthrew completely, and then this shot there to Bell.
Yeah, to me, Bell is their version of Darius. He's a guy that always finds himself open. He's a good route runner. He has strong hands. He's also a very good blocker, too. Just got to find ways to get him the football.
Wade, it's got time. Now pocket collapses, get rid of it. Popped up in the air and almost picked off again by the Hoyas. Crazy bounces going the Hoyas' way. And Jethro Francois has had another crazy interception.
This game has just been wild, man. I mean, I know it's the last game of the regular season, and crazy stuff will happen, but just a good job by that offensive line, giving them protection. Just an even better defensive play on the back end by the Hoyas.
Of course, Emery, you had to hop off to your second game that day, but that's how the Hoyas beat Lehigh on a crazy pop-up interception that Francois was able to grab and snuff out a Lehigh drive with no points in that first overtime or second overtime possession. Hoyas punched it in a few plays later with Jackson Saffold for that big win to end that long winless streak against the Mountain Hawks. 3rd and 10, and now flag will go down, whistles blow, and delay of game on Holy Cross. Bob Chesney not a fan. He's giving the officials an earful. I think that's pretty much how you can tell, guys. If the if the coach is yelling at his quarterback, it's their fault. If it's at the officials, he thinks he didn't give enough play clock.
Unless you're Jim Caldwell or Gene Stallings, their expression never change, win or lose.
How about Todd Bowles to that group?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, that's another one. He's another one that's stoic.
No, you're a New York-based guy, Emery. So.
So now 3rd and 15. Roll out pass. Wade caught. Dorsey gets back just past the original line of scrimmage, but he's short. Let's see where Chesney goes here. Ball's at the 35.
I don't think you push the pace here and go for it. I think you've done enough defensively to where you can trust them to keep them backed up. I think they're going to go for it here, but
they are. And the reason I would go with this is, Emery, like you said, it's been 2 different offenses for the Hoyas. When they're in good field position, they take some chances. When they're pinned deep, they kind of went into a shell. I think with a pretty good kicker in Wilkinson, you pin them deep, you can maybe get the ball right back. But let's see. Holy Cross rolling the dice. Wade, 4th and 9. No pressure. He's got time. Kessler trying to get loose, goes deep, looking for a man. Incomplete. Another big play by AG, knocking it away from DiNicola at the last second. A flag goes down. And I think this is going to be holding. So it'll be decline, and Hoyas get the ball back, and I think that was Owen Kessler drawing it.
You saw him jump up and down right here. He's being held, and he's going to say, hey, I'm being held. Okay, let me show you how much I'm being held by jumping up and down. I don't know what his major is, but his minor has to be theater. Has to be. It's a good thespian move right there by Kessler.
I remember the good old days of my Division III nose tackle ship. I would get held, and I would see my shirt pulled up about to my pads. I'd look at the ref and go, holding? Can we get a holding? Got to get a holding. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Tomas goes in motion. They'll fake the handoff to him. Johnson rolling out, throws it deep, almost picked off, and then Williams takes a shot to the chops for his troubles.
Emma, you made a point that was really interesting, and it's the fact that you wouldn't go for it if you were Holy Cross because of the fact the defense has been playing so well. The scoreboard's a little bit deceiving in the fact that you have that kind of fluke play where Edwards is getting the touchdown there. Another play defensively, they're able to get the touchdown. So really, your defense has been really stout against this team. A few plays here and there have the scoreboard looking the way it does, but the defense has been playing well otherwise.
Moultrie trying to get to the outside. It'll be brought down in the backfield, and guess who? It's Capsis.
Watch this play on the replay. He was able to win initially off the ball, lock his arms out, and set the edge and drive that offensive tackle back into the backfield. Then the wherewithal to make the play. Capsis did a great job exploding off the football and then reaching out with his free arm and bringing down the ball carrier. That's textbook defensive end play against the run. That's why I like this guy's game and projects well to play at the next level, in my opinion.
We were told that's Randy Christian number change. As Christian normally wears 72. Christian, the senior out of Cedar Hill, Texas. Hoyas looking at a 3rd and 14 here. Johnson has to reverse out. Just trying to run away now. Gets away from one man. Now try to get out of bounds and does to avoid the hit. As we get close to the original line of scrimmage, I think just short, and Hoyas will punt it away.
I like the defensive stunt right here. Nice little pressure. You saw Capsis explode up and push out the offensive tackle, which cleared the lane for the twisting linebacker to come in unaccosted. Now, granted, the right guard fell on his butt, but you saw the stunt right there by the DN and linebacker. Nice way to create pressure, force Johnson outside on the perimeter. Gets him to punt the football here on 4th down.
So here we go. DiNicola back deep, shading his eyes. Hurst, another close one, but gets it away. High kick. DiNicola is going to take the fair catch just inside his 25-yard line. We talked about Capsis and his big game so far. 4 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. Of course, the Hoyas, they've got their own guy in Christian Tate. He's got just 2 solo tackles, but it's got 2. They're both for losses and a sack. So, again, some good guys on the defensive front for both these teams. So again, Holy Cross looking for that first touchdown of the game. They bring a 4-6 record into this one under first-year coach Bob Chesney. It's actually going to be Chesney's first losing season. Wade keeps after the long delay. It'll be brought down by Icod after a gain of 3.
And Chesney is a really good football coach. I had a chance to get down there or get up there to Holy Cross this spring and chat with him. And just the energy that he brings to the table. He had me ready to go and play for him. Same way when I talked to Coach Carlotta, man. These are passionate guys, and not surprised that both teams are having success that they are right here at this part of the season.
Wade with the 5-yard gain now swings it out. Alexander trying to get loose from Francois, does, and finally banged down, and Wes Bowers gets the stop short of the sticks.
Kind of continuing along that point, Emery, like these teams in the preseason power poll, the coaches poll, they were afterthoughts. And the fact that you've got guys who can spark a fire under these teams, it really speaks well to their ability. Georgetown and Holy Cross being 2nd and 3rd, respectively, in the Patriot League thus far.
Be on the lookout for something going to the far side of the field here.
Yeah, With a bunch of receivers over here. Quick pass. Looking for the double pass. Not there. He'll pull it down and run. And Blaze Bell should have first down yardage. And again, remember, Bell used to be a quarterback.
Yeah, and that's what gave them – we did this game, I want to say 2 years ago when Wade took over for Peter Pujols, and they got Bell involved in throwing the football. They got him involved in running the football. And that's what I like about his game. He's very versatile, and they did a great job right there just stopping him from making a play, not only downfield, but also stopping him short here on 4th and inches.
Yeah, folks, I apologize. Think thrown off by that backwards pass so he could throw it. I thought he was a little farther up than he was. But the Hoyas rally and will at least force a punt attempt. Let's see if they actually punt it away. They do. And Brown's going to fair catch it at his 30-yard line. So the Hoyas defense, again, comes up large.
I think when people look at the Patriot League, they tend to look at maybe the top team and ignore everything else. And since we cover the Patriot League a lot, you look at Georgetown, I don't think they get a lot of credit for what they do defensively. They are no different defensively from a schematic standpoint and from a production standpoint than Colgate. Now, granted, Colgate has all the shutouts, but Georgetown's defense is what keeps them in ball games no matter who they play, where they play. This is a very good defensive football team.
Moultrie bounces to the outside, brought down after a gain of 4. Coming up from his defensive spot was Akeem Walcott, also finished off there. A few other Crusaders.
And I think as Georgetown builds up this offense through recruiting, I think we'll start to see what makes Colgate able to shut out these teams is the fact that they're able to execute at a high level offensively. So being able to get in and out of spots, take the ball down the field, put your defense in better positions. So I think as Georgetown gets better offensively, we'll see them develop as well.
Johnson, boots. He's going to take the yardage he can get and gets back to the line of scrimmage. And, yeah, that's one of those things, you know, a defense's best friend is an offense that possesses the football because it lets you sit over there, get some water, get a deep breath, all those good things.
Just saw Moultrie walk off a little shaken up. Don't know if it's serious or anything, but something certainly to monitor here.
Well, most definitely, Joseph, considering the fact the Hoyas are kind of thin at the running back spot. As they've lost Saffold to injury. Also, Jay Tolliver banged up last game. So 3rd and 7. Johnson inside shovel pass, and that's going to be incomplete as folks jumped on it. But again, forward pass, even if it comes with underhanded motion. So the Hoyas going to punt it away on 4th down.
Joel's going to kick himself when he gets to the film room because that play was wide open. Nice play call right there. Tight end flip pass underneath. He had nothing but I-95 North in his wake, and he dropped the football.
I like the creativity, though, a play that's been in vogue with the Kansas City Chiefs, Chicago Bears, that little shovel pass. And the benefit there is that it's not a fumble. It's an incomplete pass if you're not able to hit on it. So although Jewell wasn't able to execute, still no real residual damage for Georgetown.
Holy Cross coming again, but this one not as pretty of a punt. DiNicola's going to take it on the fair catch inside his 40. So again, Holy Cross with 3.5 minutes to work with. They've got a chance to go down and score here and really be a huge score, guys, as they were supposed to get the opening kickoff, but instead Georgetown caught them with the onside kick that led to a touchdown.
Stolen possessions, man, and if you're Georgetown, that missed opportunity there to pick up a first down at least and drain some more of this clock is going to be an issue for them in this ballgame if they're not able to sustain drives and really close the door on this comeback attempt by Holy Cross.
So let's see if the Crusaders can take advantage here, which should be their last possession before the half, and this almost picked off by Bowers. They're going to say he had it and then fumbled forward. Rob Scarlatta trying to say that's an incomplete pass. The officials seeing it differently. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, even from the naked eye, I thought he dropped that football. That was not, I mean, great job by Bowers just reading the eyes of the quarterback, but he caught it, came down, and I guess, yeah, I guess you can.
It away.
I guess that was a football move. kind of caught it, turned around, tried to spin out.
And one of the linemen up front for Holy Cross knocking that one loose. I believe that was the center, Durrell. And now in the backfield taken down is Alexander.
Bowers is so explosive in pursuit. Just stormed the backfield, and also the captain Lyons there to bring down the ball carrier. This Holy Cross team has been able to get really nothing done on the ground. Credit to Georgetown for making them one-dimensional like we talked about in the open.
Yeah, just to go back to that interception, that dropped interception, to catch that football at that point, that's at least 100 miles an hour coming right at you, and he was able to bring that ball in.
And a fumble off the corner blitz. Can the Hoyas pick it up? They will. Icott brought down at the 20-yard line, but the perfectly timed corner blitz from Lions, another big play from the senior, and the Hoyas in business.
Their defense is their best offense, man. Georgetown is creating explosive plays on the defensive side of the football. Just a great corner blitz coming off the edge, and was able to take advantage of a quarterback that was holding the football a little bit too long, waiting for one of his receivers to get open.
Line's completely unaccounted for by that offensive line, that protection unit, and good job by him being able to get the ball out, and Georgetown, for them to be able to recover. They're playing an exciting brand of football right now. We've seen this team, the way they've developed from last season. They went 1-10 to this season, where they're up 21-5 in a battle for second in the Patriot League. It's an exciting team right now.
Moultrie back in at running back. They'll hand it off. This is Tomas picking his way through. The freshman stopped and pushed back around the 15-yard line after a nice gain.
Like you said earlier, Yusef, the more Tomas gets the football, the better. I think this guy, along with Moultrie and what they have in Darius on the outside, those are your cornerstone playmakers on his offense. You just have to find ways to continue to feed those guys the football in order to have some success.
Right now, the Hoyas would love not to give this ball back to Holy Cross and then punch it in for a touchdown. Let's see how much they go here. Moultrie picking his way through. He's got a first down, and he is down inside the 5. So maybe a blessing in disguise, as Moultrie could have gone in for the score. Instead, they can run more time off. Actually, they're going to speed up. They're going to go for the touchdown. Moultrie gets stopped. And now Rob Scarlatta is going to take a timeout here. Kind of confused by that.
Yeah, to go up-tempo there where you didn't really have to, and then the double back and call the timeout, I'm a little bit confused here like you.
Maybe a method to the madness. But again, I think as we've seen, Holy Cross has struggled. But again, Patrick Murphy, a great mind there. You get a big play there. That really changes the game. If you can't, don't give them the ball back, you get the kickoff back. Like you said, you can really just kind of blow this thing open. And this Georgetown defense hasn't seen many situations where they've been able to pin their ears back and come after people with a 3 or 4 touchdown lead. I can imagine what they do then.
I'm about to say, what if the plan here is to put their defense back on the field as quick as possible, because their defense has been playing some great football.
Of course, what's at stake for Georgetown? A win would be a second-place finish in the Patriot League, and maybe more importantly, Joseph, a 6-5 record, a winning season.
Well, Coach Scarlatta talked about it all week. He wants to send these seniors out the right way. These guys have been through the battles. Their first winning season it would be since 2011. That's a big deal for this team.
So Jewell will go in motion. They'll hand it off. Moultrie cuts it back, and he'll be stopped inside the 5. And timeout taken by Georgetown.
Two things I don't get. One, taking a timeout, obviously. And 2, running outside to the short side of the field. Again, as a former running back, you want to give yourself a chance. And running outside, short side of the field, you're putting not only me up against the 17 defenders that's still standing there waiting for me when I get outside, but you're also putting me up against the sideline as well. I can't make anything happen. I'm either going to take a loss or unwarningly go out of bounds and stop the clock. So why are you running short side of the field, outside, and also the timeouts here. I would be interested to hear the reasoning behind it. I'm pretty sure there's a method to this or a reason why, but I would be interested to hear why this is happening because it's very interesting. Maybe they feel as though they can get a 2-for-1. I don't know.
It is an interesting call here because Holy Cross has all their timeouts left. So if they get a decent return, you can expect them to try and score coming back here. Johnson looking, and that'll be incomplete as he was looking for Williams. So now the Hoyas will end up with a field goal attempt and a minute on the clock left for Holy Cross to try and score a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you see the 2 timeouts, unsure what the thinking is. You're leaving Holy Cross down the way that they are. Going to give that about a minute, probably 50 seconds to try and get something going the other way, which is important for them because Georgetown's going to get the second half kickoff, so they want to get some points somehow. I guess good on Georgetown being able to get a field goal attempt out of it.
So here's Hill, and this will be good as Holy Cross, again, we've mentioned it before, Vorster and some of those other guys pretty good at blocking kicks. They got through, but Hill was able to get it up and through and give the Hoyas a 24-5 lead with just over a minute to go. So, and actually, I don't know if any time ran off the clock on that play. Either way, we will we'll see where the Hoyas go here. And at this point, Hurst would love to boot one through the end zone and not allow Holy Cross to get a big play here and maybe get some momentum before the half.
These special teams units, it was Argis there, number 17, looked like he had a chance to block that field goal off the edge, and that left side of Georgetown, they've allowed some pressure coming off that right defensive or special team side for Holy Cross, so something to monitor if they can eventually get through. I know on a Brad Hurst punt attempt, another guy almost got through there, so at this stage, they may need a big-time special teams play to change the momentum of this game.
So Hurst will boot it away. And that's going to be a squib kick. Holy Cross will fall on it at the 35-yard line, so they will have decent field position as they try to put some points on the board before the half.
And so, you know, there's a you kind of see with the squib kick, you don't allow the return, but, you know, the trade-off is that you give them pretty good field position. And Holy Cross has all 3 of their timeouts, so they're going to get an opportunity to put some points on the board, and much needed. They got to get something going here on this drive.
So here we go. Hoyas will get the second half kickoff. So Holy Cross, let's see. I think they'd be aggressive here, trying to cut this lead down before the half. Wade is going to throw it deep. Has a man in Dorsey, and he'll make the catch despite the interference by Goldwire.
Yeah, I don't know what Goldwire is trying to plead his case. Like, he pulled him back into him, actually helped him make the catch. I know he's probably complaining that the receiver was boxing him out essentially, but good job by Wade waiting in the pocket and finding an open guy downfield. It was a little bit underthrown, but the receiver had the wherewithal to come back to the football, like you said earlier, was able to draw the pass interference penalty.
And I think what Goldwire was complaining, that box out, that right hand, he felt it put it, took him out of the play, didn't give him a chance to make the play on the ball, but he grabbed him by his waist, and good job by Dorsey being able to make the catch regardless.
Wade looking over the middle, has a man, it's Bell. He'll be hit and brought down short of the stick, so Holy Cross will take a timeout as Chesney right up to the official. And you'd have to think anything short of the sticks from now on until they run out, it's going to be a timeout situation for the Crusaders. So again, let's see if the Georgetown defense can hold up, but they are in field goal position.
Patriot League honors.
Let's look, of course, a good week for the Hoyas as 2 Georgetown football players won Player of the Week honors. Xavier Reddick had a monster game in that win over Bucknell. Of course, the big forced fumble laid, the interception laid as well. And Herman Moultrie, Rookie of the Week, with the 135 yards rushing and had the 22-yard receiving touchdown. So, again, it was good to see the Hoyas in a good performance, get some accolades for it.
Moultrie having that performance, I think, is huge for Georgetown's offense in the future. They can find a dynamic back like Moultrie, and if he can continue to put together performances like that, this team is really going to take off in the future.
So 2nd and 3. 3 wides to one side for Holy Cross. Lots of room to maneuver out there. Sure, Patrick Murphy looking to set something up. Pressure comes. Wade hit from behind and brought down by Kessler. What a play for the Hoyas.
Owen Kessler again from the edge, being able to beat that left tackle and get to the quarterback. He's been terrific all season.
Yeah, he tried to cut block him, but Kessler showing the athleticism, beating that cut block. And that was key to the play, because anytime you're trying to cut a defender, the ball has to come out quick. It's a quick pass. They weren't able to get that cut block, and Wade was trusting that his guy was able to do that. That's why Kessler was able to get back there and make the play.
And Alexander went down on the play, and I believe Holy Cross going to take the time out in lieu of a runoff, as he was the man who tried to cut block Kessler. So now we'll see exactly how Alexander comes back. But 3rd and 15. Emery, what are you thinking here if you're Holy Cross?
Deep middle shot, try to get a quick timeout, and maybe give yourself 2 plays at the end zone, 2 shot plays before kicking the field goal. Middle field still in play here, in my opinion.
Hoyas only 1 deep safety. That's Brown. DiNicola across the formation in motion. Wade pump fakes, pressure coming after him. He's got to scramble, and he will be incomplete. Looking for DiNicola, couldn't make the catch as Goldwire came up and laid a lick.
Good clean hit there by Goldwire to jar the ball loose. This team, Holy Cross, they're out of field goal range, you have to think right here. So for Goldwire to make that pass deflection in effect there by jarring the ball loose, big-time play for them.
They're going to go ahead and bring out Ing. And remember, earlier in the season, Ing with the game-winning 45-yard overtime field goal against Yale. Of course, this is on turf. This is going to be a 52-yard field goal attempt for Ing. Snap, hold, kick is up, and that is going to be short. So the Hoyas will get the ball back in decent field position. Rob Scarlatta fired up. Let's see where they go with this. I would think with the lead in the ball, they'd probably play it safe.
You never know. We just saw them call timeouts down on the other end.
Well, you brought up 2 for 1, the old NBA basketball concept. They've kind of got it here. I don't think it was the way they thought they would have it. And it looks like discretion will be the better part of valor as Darius is back deep as the safety man on the kneel down. And Johnson will go down. Let's see if Holy Cross takes the timeouts they have left. They will not. So the Hoyas with some opportunistic play as the defensive score on the interception and lateral. The big play as well by Max Edwards being heads up and not going down until the ball was ruled down, taking it in. Of course, also the onside kick to set up another touchdown. Hoyas with the 24-5 lead on Holy Cross as we head to the half. Quest for a winning season going pretty well right now as they lead Holy Cross 24-5 at the half. Jeremy Huber, Emery Hunt, and Yosef Nasser with you. And, of course, the Hoyas, again, playing very well, been very opportunistic as well in this game, taking advantage of the chances in front of them. Guys, let's go ahead and get to our highlights in this one. A lot of them in the first half. And again, really the Hoyas, Emery, big plays early on were big for the Hoyas. We saw Josh Tomas with a nice run to get things going, really kind of got things going then. Gunther Johnson punched it in.
Yeah, making a play for his football team in the running game. He's been doing that all day. I've been impressed with what he's done so far on the ground.
Johnson getting the Hoyas on the board. That was the possession after the onside kick. Hoyas defense getting in. We've seen Kessler in the backfield, but field position would be key, Joseph, hitting the Hoyas deep a few times.
Wilkinson might be the punter. Wilkinson might be the MVP for Holy Cross. This is a big play here, setting them within their own 1 yard line, and then right here, the safety as Gunther tries to run to his right. Nothing doing there. Safety on the board for Holy Cross.
And then it looked like things would completely turn around as Gilliam almost took this one to the house. But again, Emory, Jalen Goldwire, credit him.
Hustle will get you anywhere you want to on the football field. And that was a great hustle play because it set the table for them getting the stop here on these upcoming series of plays.
Yeah, the Hoyas would go ahead and hold strong on 3 plays. Actually pushed Holy Cross back, I believe, on all 3 plays, eventually forced them into a field goal. Then the Hoyas defense would come up big again. The tip ball, the pick on the play by AG.
AG, a big-time playmaker, plays a few different safety positions, able to make the play there, looking to pitch, but brought down 3 interceptions in total for Georgetown defensively.
A little foreshadowing, that would come up again. Johnson would get sacked. Holy Cross trying to snuff out the tries, but Gunther again using his legs like he's wont to do. Again, as you said, put him in the spin cycle.
Yeah, put him in the blender right there, chopped up his knees and ankles and set him on the ground quickly. So good job right there by Johnson. Again, I've been very impressed with what he's done on the ground.
And maybe the play of the game right here, we thought Max Edwards was down, Joseph. He wasn't.
They talk about playing to the whistle. That's what Max Edwards does here. He explodes out of that tackle. He was sitting on top of Brady. Good opportunistic play, being able to run for the touchdown, a big difference maker in this game.
Then another big play for the Hoyas defense as Wilson steps in front, then finds his man Lyons behind him, Emory.
Great football IQ on display right there by Wilson, buzzing, not completely buzzing out of the way, stayed in that passing window, was able to find the interception.
So the Hoyas with a big lead there, those back-to-back big plays put them out in front, but then Holy Cross figuring out a way to go ahead and get into position as we would see them again threaten the end zone for the Hoyas. But again, Georgetown would find a way on the defensive end to slow them down. This here, a nice play. Alexander actually getting through a few people there, keeping the chains moving. He's been through a weapon as Cozier really hasn't been up to snuff today, a little bit banged up. It's another play over the middle and almost a turnover there, but a good play by the Holy Cross line to knock that one loose from Bowers. Holy Cross keeping it, but again, Emory, the defense would step up.
Great team defense right there by Georgetown. It's tough to run downhill. You have to play on the perimeter, but they've been winning outside.
Here was the corner blitz. It knocked it loose. Hoyas jumped on top, almost ran it in here. Credit Alexander with the tackle on Icott. Sets up the field goal attempt. That's how we got to 24-3. But Holy Cross had another chance. They go deep here as they were looking for Dorsey. Made the catch despite the interference. But again, the Hoya defense would step up. Joseph, Owen Kessler big again.
Owen Kessler, 1.5 sacks already on the game. Big time presence on the edge, making plays this whole defense has all game.
And really, Emory, the numbers pretty similar. Obviously, more passing yards for Holy Cross, but the Hoyas have been big when it comes to the turnovers.
Yeah, and stopping the run. I know the rush yards right there says -15, but you have to take into account the sack yardage counts as rushing yards. But even without that involved, they haven't been able to get the ground game going. Holy Cross has to establish the line of scrimmage if they want to come back in the second half.
Not a lot of third down conversions as well. Not a lot of real standout guys when it comes to this game individually. We've had some yardage for a few folks, but not all that much. Again, Wade doing what he's doing. Again, not a lot of huge plays. I guess the Edwards play, Joseph, the big play of the half.
It's really the only play. Josh Tomas, the fact that he leads the team in rushing, it really says that they need to get this guy involved. Not really a high volume of carries, but when he gets the ball, he's effective. He's able to make things happen. With the offense as stagnant as it's been, getting Tomas involved in those misdirection type plays, just as something that the defense has to account for, is big.
We'll take a very short break. Be back right after this. Hoya is up 24-5 on Holy Cross here on the Patriot League Network on Stadium. So almost ready for the start of the second half in this one as Cody Wilkinson teeing it up. As we pointed out before, you see the preseason coaches poll. Holy Cross picked 4th, Georgetown picked 7th, so it could be a complete difference for the Hoyas, especially with the win today already is. And Georgetown 4-1 in the league. Holy Cross at 3-2. A win for the Hoyas means outright second place behind Colgate, the champ, and really is expected to make some noise in the FCS playoffs this year. Remember, Hoyas kicked off, got an onside kick to open the game. Let's see if Holy Cross tries to return the favor. They'll go a little short pooch. It'll be taken by an up man at the 30-yard line, getting out of bounds on the play. Palmer Nix, the freshman linebacker, so makes a good play, and Hoyas in good field position.
Again, we always want to see what happens when you come out of the half, what adjustments were made or what you're going to continue to do. I think for Georgetown, they came out of the gates, try to attack deep down the field. They have to find a way to get Michael Darius involved in this offense. He's been non-existent outside of maybe 2 plays in this ball game.
Yep, Darius doesn't have a catch yet. And they will go ahead and give it to Moultrie. Bounces to the outside, stays on his feet with a stiff arm. Moultrie cuts it back. He'll be knocked out of bounds just past the 50, but a 16-yard gain for Herman Moultrie to start things off.
This is why we love Herman Moultrie. As a freshman, the fact that he's patient, he doesn't lose any of his confidence. He does a little hesitation move, is able to quickly bounce to the outside and finishes the run off with a nice stiff arm. Powerful run there, and this is what this Georgetown team needs to do. Run some clock with this lead, put a nice drive into the end zone.
So another 1st and 10. This is Moultrie hitting the backfield this time, and Holy Cross's D-line up for the challenge.
A lot of times as a runner, you kind of see it happen before it plays out. When you see a situation where, you know what, I'm about to get smashed on this play, you kind of see where the defense is going to be. And once you get that handoff, and you don't want to see the opposing jerseys right there waiting for you to get the football completely before they bring you down to the ground. That was just a total bust up front by Georgetown.
So it's Jewell coming out wide as a tight end. Remember, Schley not playing today. Quick screen and a good play there, as you can hear the Holy Cross coaching staff just in the booth next to us. Jack Haddon comes up from his linebacker spot to make the play.
Good job by Haddon diagnosing the screen. They saw that the whole way and able to pop the running back for short play.
So now a 3rd and 12. So the Hoyas, after the big run by Moultrie, looked like it had them in business. Holy Cross looking to get this ball back and get to work cutting into this 19-point deficit.
So both teams combined 1 out of 14 on 3rd downs.
Tomas leaves the backfield. Now the Hoyas going to jump off sides and put them even deeper into a hole. That'll be a false start. So again, Hoyas moving backwards. As we mentioned today, 6-5 record on the line for the Hoyas would be their first winning season since 2011. Just their second since 1999. So a level of success the Hoyas haven't seen that much of lately. Coming off a 1-10 campaign last year where they lost the last 10. What a big step forward that would be for Georgetown. They'll give it off to Moultrie. He's hitting the backfield, and another small loss for the Hoyas.
Really not a great start by the Hoyas. It started out promising with that Moultrie first down run, but moving backwards ever since. And I know the score 24-5 doesn't look great for Holy Cross, but if they can just get a drive going offensively, they really have to have a chance to change the narrative of this game.
DeNicola back deep. Crusaders have come close a few times. Trying to block a punt. Had one go off the helmet of an up back earlier. Hurst gets this one away. A little low tail wagger. DeNicola will take it. Eludes the first man. Trying to get to the outside. And Lions with a big play to bring him down just short of the 25.
I know a lot of coaches, they're split right down the middle when they talk about playing starters on special teams. But this is why you do it, because you have a guy in Ramon Lyons that's used to making plays out in space, open field, with a great tackle right there. Because when you look at the returner, DeNicola, he had an opportunity to turn that corner and get upfield to get at least 20 to 25 yards. But I love the philosophy of using your starters on special teams, keep those guys engaged, and it ensures that you have a great end result, which they did there.
Really big credit from Rob Scarlatta talking about Jethro Francois, who plays really on all the units for them. He cuts in the time he could be a starter. Out route, Mountain makes the catch as Brown almost knocked it away. Give him 4.
First time we've heard from Mountain all day. Coach Scarlatta had high praise for him, calling him one of the best tight ends that this Georgetown team sees in Patriot League play. And credit Georgetown for really Holy Cross not being able to get him involved the way they'd like to.
Yeah, Mountain, an interesting story, was actually a walk-on the Holy Cross basketball team. Traditionally one of the top Patriot League programs. Now man jumps off sides. It's number 57, Nick Zlofka. Zlofka, freshman out of Louisville, Kentucky. Hometown of our former sideline reporter, Anna Tarullo.
Shout out to Anna.
2nd and 11 now after the penalty. Handoff up the middle. Oliver stacked up by the Hoya defense after gain of 3.
It's a big third down here for Holy Cross because you want to come out of the half and have a scoring drive, whether that's a field goal or obviously a touchdown, but you want to come over with points in this situation. So you look for your key guys, your playmakers. Blaze Bell, the big-time receiver, is lined up in the slot to the far side of the field. Let's see if they find a way to get him involved down the middle of the field.
Chinwuko out there as a pass rusher, getting some time. Hoy's showing blitz. They'll come with 5, now 6. Running for his life is Wade, picked off by Bowers. Bowers looking for the end zone. Bowers will get there. Touchdown. Hoya's defense strikes again.
Pressure by Xavier Reddick forces the early throw, and Wes Bowers, right place, right time. This defense, 4 interceptions on the day. That's why they lead the league, the Patriot League in interceptions, because of creating pressure and discipline defensively. Such a tough team to stop.
Well, this is why coaches break things, because you look at the linebacker staring Wade in the face, he throws it right to him. Now, Wade is a senior quarterback, a good player, but that's a throw a freshman makes, and credit Wes Bowers. We've seen him more in the end zone than more Hoya football players on the offense side of the ball. So great job right there, just finding a way to turn the ball over and put it into the end zone once again. Second pick 6 of the game.
Here's Hill for the extra point, and he will boot it through, and Hoya's now up 31-5. And Emory, again, we're going to put that beautiful football mind of yours on display. This is what this has kind of seen twice today from me as we watched some highlights from Wes Bowers, that really you watch the Hoyas so far today. We talk about hot routes on offense. It's almost like the Hoyas, as we see Bowers last week with his big plays, how we've seen the Hoyas go ahead and maybe send blitzes and know where the outlet passes are going. They're waiting for the play.
That's a great point, because if I can get pressure on you and I know where your hots are, I can get myself in position to make that play. You saw them bring interior pressure knowing that they were going to seal off the backside and flush into the left side, the right side of the field. You saw Wes Bowers just go stand right in position, make the play. And anytime you have defenders that can catch the football as equally as your offensive players, it makes it very tough for a quarterback, because there's no errant pass you can throw, because those guys are just as good as catching the football. And we've seen Georgetown kind of be a little bit more offensive on defense, and that's huge. That's been the big reason why they find themselves in this position in this ball game, and also right here in the season where they're 1 win away from their first winning season since 2011, like you mentioned, where Coach Scarlatta was a defensive coordinator on that football team.
Of course, you saw those great plays last week by Bowers against Bucknell. He has been a terror for this Georgetown team. Out of Bishop, McNamara comes out of the end zone. Gilliam's got to bring it out now. And will he get it back out to the 25? Gilliam with some good moves to get back out to the 20. Still short of where he could have been, but almost disaster for Holy Cross.
Good job by Gilliam, credit him. Bad decision to hesitate there, but he was able to make something out of nothing and get it out to the 20. That's Holy Cross will take it at this point.
And really, under the new rules of college football, you can fair catch that one inside the 20. It comes out to 25.
To the 25, yeah. He hesitated right there, got caught between a rock and a hard place. And, you know, a lot of times you got the guy that's in front of you trying to tell you, like, hey, stay in, take the knee. But I would not listen to that guy because I want those return yards. So I understand the mindset, but at the end of the day, you have to find a way to get as many positive yards as you can.
So Holy Cross will go back out. Offense trying to get something positive going. They find Dorsey, and Dorsey will have a first down, so that's a good way to start if you're the Crusaders.
It's just about stacking positive plays on top of one another. If they can do that, they'll find their way back in this ball game. Again, it looks bad 31-5, but you're really a few plays away from making this thing competitive and getting right back into it.
Again, looking for DiNicola, and this time a big miss by Wade.
You're absolutely right, Emery. At this point, you can't look at the scoreboard. You just have to execute offensively, put a nice drive together, try to get some points on the board, and the defense has been playing well. Again, another touchdown for Wes Bowers defensively. This Georgetown defense has been their offense thus far in this game.
Wade has got time and has a man as he finds Dorsey just short of the sticks. So it will be a third down, but third and very short.
They're a really good receiving football team. Bell, DiNicola, Dorsey, really good senior receivers. They're tight end. Mountain is another guy that's a senior that you see these guys do a great job of extending out and making a reception and quickly taking it back in to protect the football. So they got the guys on the perimeter to make the comeback happen. They just have to make sure to get the protection, and Wade has to do a better job of protecting the football.
Hoyas, 4 down lineman. Wade will keep it. Gets past the on-rushing Blaze Brown and has the first down, but does take a big stick from Kingsley Umemba.
Good settle sidestep to be able to fall forward there, pick up the first down on 3rd and 1. They fake the run to the outside. Wade reads the end, is able to fall forward for the first down, and this is exactly what they need. A few passes to Dorsey, execute in short yardage situations, and pick up first downs.
Wade looking over the middle. Does he have a man? He does not. And AG with a hit as he's able to put one on Iene, and Holy Cross looking for a flag. None comes.
I think what saved him there is that as he was approaching the receiver, he kind of deliberately turned his shoulder and back and kind of used that as what hit him. Still could have been an unnecessary roughness call. The ball was way overthrown, and it's a hospital ball, we called it, where Wade just kind of put the receiver directly in harm's way, and good thing it ended up to where no one was hurt on that play.
So that brings up a 2nd and 10. As Holy Cross trying to get something going here. Been kept out of the end zone by this Hoya defense, who they've given up 2 touchdowns. Wade keeps it moving, throws this one out of bounds to avoid the sack by Paul. And now Christian Tate is slow in getting up, and that's not good if you're the Hoyas.
Good pressure off the edge there by Owen Kessler, and then that forced Wade to run into Duval. Paul who was also there in pursuit, forcing Wade to throw off his back foot. And Christian Tate, we talked about his impact earlier in the broadcast, guy that they can ill afford to lose here.
Well, it's funny that he and Olsavka both were kind of holding their arms. Olsavka looks no worse for wear, so they're flexing Tate's arm. Now the official said that Wade was out of the pocket, got the ball back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see here on this play.
I thought it might have been grounding. I was a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, if you're Wade, you get rid of Kessler. Okay, cool. I'm outside the pocket. Then you see Duval Paul show up right in your face.
And I think we're looking at the injury to Tate, who goes down and had a man on top of him. Could have been a shoulder, could have been anything.
Or you could be catching a breather. You know how you D linemen do. Try to find breaks within the play.
I didn't have to do that. I only played on 1st down. Run stuffer. Run stuffer.
Good to see him walk off under his own power. Saw him smile on the sideline, so
Told
doesn't
you.
seem to be too serious.
Trying to get a break.
It's 3rd and 10 here for Holy Cross. Trailing 31-5. Pressure comes again, looking deep, and no one's there. Miscommunication by Holy Cross, and then Paul almost ends up with a penalty, and luckily for the Hoyas, as he got tangled up with the center Dorrell, and we saw actually the freshman I.B. Kamara come over and grab his older teammate and get him out of harm's way.
Yeah, because he was getting ready to throw a counter punch as well, too. I mean, he was all in on getting that personal foul and extending his drive for Holy Cross, but got to maintain your level of composure here when you're up 31-5.
Yeah, Crusaders looking for anything to breathe on, and that would be it. A cheap first down on a personal foul. Wilkinson on to punt. Boots it away. Another low kick. Brown's going to field it on the hop. Gets what he can, then brought down at the 20-yard line. And again, more extracurriculars.
We used to call this Plan B. Yeah, when you're having issues on the field, you go to Plan B, which is to try to get those cheap flags, which is what just came out, and we may see 2 offsetting penalties for both Georgetown and Holy Cross. But both teams really have to start to calm down and not allow emotion to take over and get either one of them out of the game.
Last game of the season. You don't want to get kicked out of that. You want to be out there celebrating with your team, making big plays late. So that is going to be Chinwoku. So Quincy Chinwoku will earn the Hoyas 15-yard penalty and will actually push it back to the 10-yard line.
Chinwoku is a guy, so we look at Christian Tate. When we were on the conference call with Coach Scarlatta, you asked Jeremy why Christian Tate has been able to pick up his play to this extent to where he's leading the Patriot League in sacks. And one of the guys that credited is I.B. Kamara, of course, and then Quincy Chinwoku, the emergence of those freshmen along the defensive line, able to make Christian Tate's job a lot easier with what they're doing, getting pressure on the quarterback. Chinwoku, a freshman, mistake there, though, with the unsportsmanlike conduct.
So let's see how the Hoyas attack this one here. We've seen this Holy Cross defense really stand up pretty well today. It hasn't been their bad. The Hoyas getting 2 defensive touchdowns. They'll hand it off, and up the middle goes the freshman running back Moultrie for a minimal gain. And right now, if you're Georgetown, there's not a lot when it comes to running back behind Moultrie. And we talked about it before. Saffold injured, Tolliver injured. Of course, lost earlier in the season, lost to Carl Thomas in the first game of the season in that win against Marist. So in the past, we've seen the Hoyas get banged up across the offensive line, other spots. They've been pretty healthy this year, except for the running back spot. Call this one 2nd and 10. Again, they'll hand off, and again, Moultrie brought down for a loss on the play by Brady.
One thing I always hated as a running back was when I felt as though the linebackers were on the same page as I was, that knew what I was about to do, knew my moves, knew where I was trying to hit my landmarks, and they beat me to the spot, because that's what you're seeing from Ryan Brady, and that's what you see on film from Brady. He's one of those dudes that you can tell he spends a lot of time in the film room, and he's always where the running back expects the running back to be, and he's always there making the play. I'm a big fan of his game.
And Bob Chesney telling us just always in that film room. Shovel pass, and this time Capsis all over it as he'll take Moultrie down. Another loss for the Hoyas. So the Hoya offense playing a little conservative there, and Holy Cross was up for the challenge.
We've called Capsis' name a ton in this ball game. You see him just at the line of scrimmage, getting off a block, saw it coming. Coaches tell you all the time, play with your eyes, your hands, and your feet, and the play will come to you. And he did exactly that, all 3 things on that play, and he found success as they try to sneak that tight end shovel pass once again. But Capsis was where he was supposed to be and made the stop and forcing a punt here for Georgetown.
Again, Hoyas playing it safe, as they probably should there with the 26-point lead. Hurst boots it away. Holy Cross again getting pressure. Not that good of a kick. Takes a bit of a Georgetown roll out across the 40-yard line. And so Holy Cross will have good field position after the defensive stand.
Jeremy, the scoreboard that we see 31-5 is not representative of how well this Holy Cross team has done defensively. If you take away that Max Edwards play where it looked like he was down, but credit to him, he kept on running, played to the whistle. This Georgetown offense really hasn't been able to get much going at all. Maybe the two Josh Tomas runs, maybe a nice Herman Moultrie pickup on the ground or two. Other than that, this defense done a great job for Holy Cross.
Wade on the rollout. Finds a man. That's Bell, but can't get the foot down in bounds.
Yeah, to build on your point, you talk about 2 pick sixes. That's 14 points right there for this football team. This Holy Cross defense has done their job for the most part. Offensively, they just got to find ways to put the ball in the end zone, which then will put a lot of pressure on Georgetown's offense to really get it going.
Yeah, the 2 pick sixes, the crazy catch and run by Edwards, and then the score off of the onside kick to open the game out in the flat. Dorsey's able to make the grab for a gain of 6.
Love to see Dorsey laying out on the line. This is why Coach raved about him on our conference call, saying that he's their go-to guy in key moments. Heard Brandon's report on that, and despite the score, he's still playing hard, making catches. As a senior, this is his last game here at Holy Cross, so he wants to make sure he gave it his all in this contest.
Christian Tate back out there with some heavy wrapping on his left elbow. 3rd and 4. Pressure comes. Icott gets there, then almost picked off by Tate as Wade tried to get rid of it, but didn't get it far enough away from the standout Hoyas defensive end.
Even on that play, for Tate to have the wherewithal to try and catch that football, even though he had no chance to get it, but just to want to make the play, that is what you want to see from a defense. That's why they're playing very good defense, or have played very good defense throughout this game and throughout the course of the season. Holy Cross really needs a big play here, to be honest. It's 4th and about 5.
A little short. Wade. Let's see where he goes. Hoyas, no real pressure. Pump fakes. Now he'll run for it. He'll have first down yardage as he's pushed out of bounds by Francois, but Jeff Wade keeps the chains moving.
A good decision right there. You saw no one on Georgetown's squad on that far side of the field was able to scramble out and pick up the first, and Tate is now having some issues with his leg now after having an issue with his arm or elbow.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Durrell mixes up with guys. They seem to go down for the Hoyas. We've seen him playing hard behind the play, and again, feisty competitor, the junior out of Chesterfield, Missouri. Let's see if we can get another angle on this as back behind the play. Tate was down.
Just a nasty pile-up right there, friendly fire.
The common opponents on this year for these two teams, and you see it's kind of crazy. You look at the results against Buck. Now, obviously, games play different times of the year, but, you know, they almost come back to beat Colgate early in the season. Of course, some of the other games, the blowout win for the Crusaders against Lehigh. Hoyas a little closer on that one.
It's interesting, man. You're really only a few plays away from, especially Holy Cross, probably a few plays away from being 7-3 right now, heading into this ball game. Georgetown, again, the big blowout on their season was the Colgate game, and you know that's understandable. Colgate right now is in a tussle with Army.
So Tate walks off with some help from trainers. They will blow this one dead. And a timeout called by Georgetown as Kevin Doherty didn't like something that his defense was set up in, so he takes the timeout. Stay connected with the Patriot League, its member schools, and student athletes through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And also, Patriot League merchandise and championship apparel is available at PatriotLeagueStore.com. Log on today to get the gear you need to support your favorite Patriot League school. So, this game features a few folks that were in the Patriot League preseason Blaze Bell, one of the preseason picks in the PL. Nobody from Georgetown. Defensively, that's where you see folks from this game. Tate, of course, from Georgetown, Vorster, Capsis, and Brady. I tell you what, you can make a pretty good run front of those four guys. I'll take them and anybody else in the PL.
A lot of Maroon C logos on that list.
Yes, there are that as well. There's a reason they're holding teams to 3 points per game. Up the middle goes Wade. Bowers brings him down, but he's across the sticks as finally the Holy Cross offense getting moving.
Best run of the game for Holy Cross. Wade did a really good job of selling the run fake and had plenty of room to run right up the middle. And finally, if you're Holy Cross, able to get something going here offensively.
Yeah, you don't want to rush. You want to take your time, get the right play, and let it pay off with a touchdown. That's the key. Touchdowns matter in this ball game and when you're trying to come back.
Oliver, the back in the backfield, looking long, nothing there. Now he'll go for it. He's got Dorsey. Does Dorsey make the catch in bounds? He does. Touchdown, Holy Cross on the diving catch by Dorsey.
I love when receivers lay out for the reception. He's 6'3", 201 pounds, and you saw him right there. It was a long development play. They went with the double move, but good throw by Wade, put it to where his receiver had a chance to make a play on it or no one else could. And you saw him track the football and lay out for it, getting that reception touchdown. Again, get the right play call, take your time, put the ball in the end zone, and now hope your defense can get stops and get you the football back.
This is Ing on for the extra point and movement up front. In this situation, let's see who it's against. And it's going to be a false start. The reason I say that, guys, is if you get that against Georgetown, I think you have to, if you're Holy Cross, maybe think about going for two at that point. Yard closer makes that run a little bit easier. But instead, it pushes Holy Cross back, and now Ing a little bit farther out. Roberts the holder. Ing boots this one through, and Holy Cross's offense finally on the board with just over 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Now Georgetown 31 and the Crusaders 12.
I think this puts the onus on Georgetown's offense. The defense has carried the weight of this team. This Georgetown offense has to get that running game going, take some time off of this clock, pick up some first downs, and maintain the lead that they have here. They're in a really strong position here, but doesn't mean the offense can take the foot off the brakes. They've got to keep it going.
We've seen Holy Cross this year with comebacks. We've seen them with fourth quarter comebacks. That's how they knocked off Yale coming from behind. So I think you're right, Joseph. If you're the Hoyas, you got to figure out a way to get something going on the offensive end.
Another factor to consider is that we've seen Christian Tate already go out twice. So Georgetown defensively, they're not, assuming Christian Tate doesn't come back into the game, don't appear to see him on the sidelines. So there he is huddled up. Looks like he's sitting next to Blaze Brown, but if he's not coming back in, he's a big factor both in the run game as well as the pass game. So
if you're Georgetown, you got to be alert here for a surprise kick.
Wilkinson does the duties for the Crusaders. Traditional kick, back deep. Lyons takes it inside his 5, drops it for a second. Lyons looking for a seam. Hit and brought down at the 25-yard line. So decent position for the Hoyas. And maybe more importantly, considering how we've seen the Hoya offense when they've been pinned deep, no flags.
It's been a fairly clean game, to be honest, outside of a couple of delay of game penalties, maybe one holding, but we haven't seen a ton of penalties in this ball game. This is a big defensive series here for Holy Cross, as it is offensively for Georgetown. They have to find a way to close out this quarter.
Right tackle Randy Christian is out of the game. Johnson looking long, and he will be incomplete as he was looking for Edwards and overthrew him. Yeah, Chris Kaler in the game, the sophomore out of Leesburg, Virginia, my hometown. As Christian, I believe, was being checked on the sidelines, maybe for a concussion, giving him the test with the finger in front of his face. So
Now, is Leesburg in between Charlottesville and D.C.?
No, it is more north. It's
Okay.
right down the street from Dulles Airport.
Okay.
And by down the street, I mean 20 minutes. But that's the general area we tell people. Man goes in motion. Tomas on the run. Slips out of one tackle. Tomas still going and will be run out of bounds. Very close to the sticks, and I think he has the first down.
Josh Tomas is an absolute game breaker in the mold of a DeAnthony Thomas. You remember him from his Oregon days. A lot of modern offenses, they have that utility guy who can take carries from the backfield, in motion, all different end-arounds, reverses. Josh Tomas is that guy, and he's an absolute presence for this team. They need to feature him more on offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, every time I look up, he's making a big play, whether it's on special teams or even in the regular offense, like you said, as a runner or a receiver. Find ways to get him the football.
And again, had to go to him because they really don't have anything else left in the backfield, especially with Tate going down. Handoff, Moultrie up the middle, was able to avoid that blitzing linebacker and get positive yards.
What I like about Moultrie, he's always falling forward. Even the run blitz, against the run blitz, as you mentioned, he's able to use a little bit of his leverage to make sure that that didn't get stuffed in the backfield, that he was able to get a positive 3-yard gain out of that.
So Rob Scarlatta just came over and talked to Christian Tate, asked him how you're feeling. Tate still testing out that leg. Something to watch going forward. 2nd and 8 for the Hoyas. Moultrie. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe just across it. Again, Hoyas in a little bit of a quandary here as starting to get some injuries on that offensive line. They need to run clock and kind of take things down, but holy cross, Emery's really playing up close here.
It wouldn't surprise me to see some sort of screen call dialed up here for Georgetown, whether it be a running back screen or maybe a quick pop screen to the tailback, to Tomas, and try to get him the football in space. I think that'll be key for Georgetown, try to move the sticks here in this 3rd and long situation.
Cameron Creighton, the freshman, into the game. Johnson, quick pass, has Moultrie. Moultrie forward, and he's very close to first down yardage, and he has it.
Good job by Johnson finding Moultrie in the flat, and Moultrie does a terrific job of making the first defender miss, and we've talked about a guy who always falls forward. Utilizing Moultrie in the passing game, I feel like that's something they can do a little more. Jeremy, obviously we know that he had the 22-yard touchdown reception in the Bucknell game last week. He's a talented all-around back, and I think that as this Georgetown team continues to develop, they'll use him as such.
Of course, Moultrie was dealing with a high ankle sprain at one point during the season, so maybe some of that elusiveness, not as much there, but it's back now. Johnson's going to keep, and he'll run into a mess of Holy Cross defenders. They converge there, coming up to make the play. Haddon in there, also coming up from the back end, a few others. Benton Whitley.
The pace here with Georgetown, what you're seeing is them slowly take the air out of the football, and that's something that we haven't seen them do for a while here, is the fact that they are doing a great job of controlling the pace tempo of the game, which helps them out in the long haul to really close out a win.
Good play there by Lang to make sure they had to make the pitch. So again, Georgetown taking their time. Going to have to run a play here. They're coming up close. Got to snap it. There it goes. And Moultrie bouncing to the outside. Stood up by Holy Cross after a gain of 4, and that should be the final play of the quarter as John Bear, running backs coach, is telling his guys, hold on, don't worry about it, don't get back to the line, we're fine, guys. So the Hoyas going to go to the 4th quarter with a 19-point lead as they look for their first 500 record since the year 2001. Hoyas up on Holy Cross 31-12 here on the Patriot League Network on Stadium. Back here in our nation's capital, Hoyas looking at a 3rd and 5, looking to keep the chains moving and run some clock and snuff out a Holy Cross comeback attempt. And again, Hoyas going to jump as Holy Cross showed a blitz. The Hoyas couldn't hold their water. So Emery, what are you thinking here? Obviously 3rd and 5, the whole playbook's open. 3rd and 10 with a lead.
3rd and 10, you probably have a chance to get a double move off. Try to find Michael Darius, get him on a stop and go, and take a shot play here in this situation.
A lot of movement from that Holy Cross defensive line. 5 seconds left on the play clock. Johnson hands it off to Moultrie. Stringing it out, spins forward. He'll be short of the sticks as he gets 7 yards. He should bring up a punting situation for the Hoyas, and here they come.
I guess this was a great drive by Georgetown, even though it didn't end in points. They were able to close out that 3rd quarter, which was huge because you didn't want to have a quick turnaround and then put the ball back in the hands of Holy Cross's offense, and they potentially get a score before the 3rd quarter was out. So great job of playing the clock here by the Hoyas. Now puts more pressure on Holy Cross to really get it going offensively. They may have to go quick tempo.
DiNicola back deep. Remember, Holy Cross has come close a few times on punts. Hurst has it blocked, and Holy Cross going to take it the other way for a touchdown. Gilliam, who blocked a punt for a score and ran one in against Boston College, does it again, and that was the play that turns this game around.
Jeremy, I had highlighted a few times, a few instances where that right side special teamer just close to blocking both a punt and a kick. That left side for the protection for Georgetown didn't hold up there, and they're able to make the momentum-changing play they need. Holy Cross is. This really changes the course of this game.
A little bit too deliberate in his release. They've been getting pressure, like you said, all game, and when you're getting a lot of pressure, it may alter your ability to get the ball off quickly, so you can't get into your normal routine of kicking the football if you've had pressure all game long. And that's the quick play like you guys talked about that Holy Cross needed. It almost nullifies the fact that Georgetown was able to close out that 3rd quarter.
Now it's just a 2-score game, and Holy Cross going for 2. Reverse pass, have a man open, and they have no, it is not a 2-point conversion. Ball bounced up in the air as they tried to hit Wade on the wide receiver pass. Couldn't make the grab. But still, it's a 13-point game as Holy Cross gets a big play they needed to get back into this game with still 14 minutes to go.
See Blaze Bell, the former quarterback, getting outside the pocket, has a wide-open Wade. Wade has to make that grab, man. That's another situation where you're trying to make a play, you're trying to get yourself back into a football game in the quickest way possible. Bell put the ball right where it needed to be in between the 1 and the 5, and this time, if it's not thrown an interception, Wade dropped the potential 2-point conversion. He has to make that play. Cuts it to it's still a 2-possession game, but that would have made it 11 instead of 13.
Emery, as I saw that play develop, it brought tears to my eyes. As you know, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. The Philly special, a very similar type play. Obviously, it was for touchdown on 4th down as opposed to a 2-point conversion. We saw Baker Mayfield and the Browns able to execute on that on a 2-point conversion. The play was there. Quarterback just couldn't bring it in, but doesn't change the fact that this game is back in terms of being a game. It's right back there.
Yeah, huge play for the Hoyas. If Hurst gets that punt off, you're probably looking at Holy Cross having the ball inside their 20 at best, having to drive the length of the field just to get it down to a 2-score game. Now, Holy Cross can really just play defense, get the ball back twice, and they can win the game. So let's see what they do. They kick it deep. Give Lions a chance. Don't want to give it to the speedy Tomas. The corner. Looking for an alley. Doesn't find one. As he'll be stopped at the 20.
Jeremy, I want to touch on a point that you made just before that kickoff. Georgetown's most dangerous unit is that defense. So the fact that Holy Cross is able to score on a special teams play, put the Georgetown offense back on the field, if they can get a 3-and-out here, all of a sudden they're back in business.
Definitely right, Joseph. Again, as we said, really, if you're Holy Cross, you don't have to do anything tricky now. You just play defense and you're okay. That's why that block punt was so important where the Hoyas could have just kind of played defense and bled the clock. Now they've got McNeil, one of the backup running backs, in. He'll have a nice gain of 5 on the play.
That was a great job by McNeil because as soon as he got that football, Capsis was in the backfield already, ready to make this stop for a TFL, but he was able to find room on the backside, cutting it back against the grain and picking up 4, maybe 5 yards on that particular play. Again, positive plays on first downs are a great thing for Georgetown's offense because we know this offense doesn't do a great job when they're backed up.
McNeil, a defensive back out of good counsel, converted him over to running back because of their dearth at the position. Quick screen, Tomas, and a great play there from Brady to sniff it out and bring him down short of the sticks.
Like the idea, and it looked like they may have been able to. They were 1 block away from springing Tomas loose. Good job by Brady being able to recognize that the screen pass was there going on his side, and he was able to bring the Tomas down.
That was going to be a touchdown, man. Brady made a touchdown saving tackle because there was no one in front of Tomas on that play had he was been able to slip through Brady's tackle.
So 2 men in the backfield. It's Moultrie and Tomas. Usually the Hoyas will send 1 man out of motion. They will. It's Tomas. Handoff, Moultrie up the middle, and he is going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Holy Cross forces a 4th down.
Size is not a skill. When you look at Ryan Brady, he's 6'1", 223 pounds, so he's built like the new age linebacker. A lot of people may look at that and say he's not as big, but this is a guy that is quick, active, and aggressive, and he supersedes his size by being able to find those little cracks in the offensive line and squirt through to make the stop, which he did right there, and forcing a punt here by Georgetown.
Let's see if Hurst gets this one off a bit quicker. DiNicola and Hurst kicks it across the field. DiNicola's going to have to let it bounce. He'll take it. Breaks the first tackle, and Goldwire gets him out of bounds at the 25-yard line, but there's the quick stop that Holy Cross needed. Let's see what their offense can do.
Well, you got the quick stop by Holy Cross, and it puts Georgetown's defense back on the field. But here's the thing about Georgetown's defense. It's without Christian Tate, who has been a nuisance throughout the entire ball game.
And again, Tate, so kind of having to go with some of the younger guys out there. Kessler playing down like he has most of the game.
Ivy Kamara, the freshman, as well.
Low snap. Wade able to pull it in. Wade looking over the middle. He's got all the time in the world, and a low throw as he was looking for Dorsey.
Even then, Cameron Dean going for the football, that's huge. Again, 9 times out of 10, you'll see a defensive back just try to make sure he secures the tackle. But the mindset of Georgetown's defense is the fact that, hey, we want the ball. We have to be our best offense. And I love the fact that you see from defensive ends to linebackers to DBs always going for the ball.
Back in the backfield is Alexander. Looking long as Wade. Pressure comes. Throws over the middle. Incomplete off the big hit from Francois.
Francois is a guy that Coach Scarlatta has raved about, a senior who's not listed as a starter, but a versatile guy, plays all 3 safety spots. You see him there bringing pressure and able to force the incompletion. He's kind of an embodiment of what this senior class for Georgetown represents. A selfless guy, a guy who battles. Things aren't always going their way, but at the end of the day, he's in there making plays. He just did there.
Francois has played all over the map in his time at Georgetown. Would love one more big play here to help out his team to a big senior day victory. Wade looking at a 3rd and 10. Looking over the middle. He has a man that is going to be incomplete. Break up on the play by Lions.
You saw that play set up perfectly for Holy Cross initially off the snap. If Wade pulls that trigger quicker, that ball is right in between the corner and safety. But because he waited, it allowed Lions an opportunity to set him up and really come over top and bat that ball away. That's not pass interference. That's just a great defensive play. He got there at the same time as a football and batted it away from Blaze Bell.
I'll agree with you, but that left hand got in there a little bit.
It did.
Hey, you're an offensive guy. You're saying it's a good play. It must be a good play, right?
Because it was simultaneous, so I'm going to give the defensive guy credit this time.
So Ing now in to punt it away. as Brown will make the fair catch inside his 30. So again, the Hoyas defense stands up. Now their offense has to get something going. At least you would think they'd have to get something going. That defense keeps playing so good. Holy Cross really can never get anything going themselves.
Well, here's what's happening. They're trying to run power and counter and outside zone, but they're not winning the battle up front. Holy Cross is beating those pulling linemen to the spot, so it's bottling everything up in between those tackle spots.
Hoyas getting a audible in from the sidelines. Sending the plays in, Lorenzo Lindsay, the freshman backup. Moultrie trying to find something. Nothing's there as Capsis comes in and makes the tackle for a 2-yard loss.
Well, this is the example I just talked about. Watch the replay. Watch how Capsis flies upfield and attacks the inside shoulder of the lineman. No-win situation right there. He got inside of the tight end right there and was able to chase that play down. That's not supposed to happen. The tight end's supposed to get that backside cleared away and allow the running back to get to the edge. Capsis is just so explosive off the football, he gave him no shot to make that happen.
Second, we'll call this 1-11. Again, the Hoyas slowing that tempo down, trying to take time off the clock while also being safe with the ball. 13-point lead for Georgetown. Johnson throws as he was getting hit by Capsis and caused the pass to be incomplete.
I know real estate in D.C. is expensive, but it's probably not expensive, or maybe Capsis found a good deal here in the backfield of Georgetown because he's been back there all day long.
And right now he's going up against the backup in Kaler after Christian left the game. So that's a tough matchup for the youngster. Again, Georgetown trying to finish off a 6-5 campaign. Would be their first winning season since 2011, just their second since 1999. Johnson going to take off, trying to look to throw. Now he'll just tuck it under and run, get what he can, and he's brought down just short of the sticks. So again, the Hoyas get close but can't move the chains.
Listen, I'm with Coach Scarlotta here. He's thinking about it, but he's going to send the punt team out there. I was on the same page, like, you know what? You might want to go for it here, trust your defense to make a play, but they're going to play the field position game, try to punt them on their own end.
So Hoyas have nobody back deep. And now Bowers will bring everyone back. They made it look like they might snap it to the up man, but instead they were going to punt it away. I have to think Holy Cross will be coming again after getting one. High snap, Hurst has it blocked again. And Holy Cross is going to run it in for another touchdown. They did it twice to BC, and they do it twice to the Hoyas, and now just a one-score game.
You got to be kidding me, man. We've seen 2 pick sixes and now 2 pump blocks for touchdowns in the same ball game. Unbelievable. I'm surprised they're not telling the punter, hey, you have to kick it faster, or go with the rugby style where you roll left to right and get a running start. But his deliberate motion and how he punts the football is allowing Holy Cross the time to get back there and block the punt.
It was Peter Oliver, the reserve running back, who takes it in, and what looked like it would be a Hoya route has turned into a very close football game. Ing with the important extra point to make it a 6-score game. He boots it through, so now Holy Cross, a touchdown and an extra point, will go ahead and take the lead. What a turn of events.
Unbelievable. 2 special teams blocks really have changed the outlook of this game. This was 31-5 at one point. Holy Cross ripping off 20 unanswered points, and special teams has been the biggest factor in the game for them really all game.
Well, this is why you can't look at the score. If you're down, you're only down a certain amount of plays. And right now, to be honest, in the second half, Holy Cross is out Georgetowning Georgetown, beating them at their own game with defense, special teams. Right now, their defense is living in the backfield of Georgetown, so they can't move the football. And all special teams, so the 2 block punts, both going back for touchdowns. Let's put them right back in this ballgame. Well, like Jeremy said earlier, they have a chance to now win with another score. So you talk about a crucial offensive series for Georgetown. This may be it.
So Yeah, the 2 pick sixes by Georgetown. The last one at the 10-19 mark made it 31-5. And then, since then, Holy Cross with the long diving catch by Dorsey, then back-to-back punt block touchdowns, one by Spencer Gilliam and one by Peter Oliver, and all kinds of energy over on the Holy Cross sidelines, and really not that much in the Georgetown stands. So again, Wilkinson back out to kick off. And this time he will kick it to Lyons, who switched his spot. Lyons cuts it back, and if you don't want to do on a kickoff, he'll be run out of bounds just short of the 20. So time for the Hoyas, if they can, to figure out something on the offensive end.
Well, here's the thing in the situation. You can't come out and try to go conservative and run the first play right into the back of your lineman. This will be the situation where you want to take that first shot deep down the field. I know I said it all game long, but you've got to find a way to find Michael Darius some freedom to get deep, give him a shot play, and that way you could back up this defense because they're just firing off the football and stopping the run.
So again, Hoyas going with that quick initial look, trying to see what Holy Cross is in, and then switching out of the play. They'll hand it off. Moultrie stacked up. McCardle and the rest of the front stop him at the line of scrimmage. And some extracurriculars. Rob Scarlatta trying to calm his guys down. And maybe angry at the referee that Holy Cross going a little too hard.
Stopping the run is about effort and want to. And right now, that's all you're seeing from the Holy Cross front four. They have taken over this second half and have really dominated this ball game along the line of scrimmage, especially those outside tackles now. First it was the guards, but now the tackles are getting involved and getting dominated by Holy Cross.
Under 9 minutes to go, so still plenty of time left in this one. Johnson back to throw, has to step up, looking for a man, throws it out. Moultrie couldn't make the catch, so now the Hoyas looking at a 3rd and long, as their offense is sputtering when they need them to come up big.
Good job by Johnson feeling the pressure off the edge and stepping up in the pocket, but he threw the pass off balance and it hit the turf. At this stage, you want to get completion so you can run down this clock.
If I'm Coach Spence, the offensive coordinator, Rob Spence, I'm looking at all the plays I have for Tomas and Darius. Those are the 2 big play options where you have to go to in this ball game.
So 3rd down, need to get it to the 30 for a first. Jewel, the man in motion, trying to set up a screen, and he has to throw this one into the bench as the Holy Cross defense was again all over him. Flagged down. This is likely going to be a hold. It will be against the Hoyas, so Holy Cross will decline and set up their best play of the game, punt block.
Exactly. That's been their best offensive play in this ball game. And we'll see if there's any subtle differences in how they either block this punt up or how they effectively get the punt off. Do they roll him left to right, rugby style, or do they keep an extra guy on the edge and not put a gunner out there to help protect the punter?
And now, unlike those first 2 punts where you could get away with maybe a one-step 30-yard punt, you need a real kick here because you're going to give them the ball inside your own end if he doesn't boom one. So here we go. Pressure comes again, not as much. Tail wagger, fair catch called for at the 43-yard line of Holy Cross. So the Crusaders, after all of that, their offense really not doing much of anything, have a chance to take the lead on this drive. What a turn of events.
And if he wanted that punt right there, number 4 had an opportunity to block it. They just called the dogs off to try to force a shank. And they got great field position. You talk about being about 58 yards away from winning this ball game or taking the lead at least.
So a huge drive in this game. Hoyas banged up, taking some injuries. Oliver already has a touchdown on the punt block, stays on his feet and pushes forward close to the sticks And he's just short of first down yardage.
Holy Cross hasn't been able to get much going on the ground, but Oliver has been their most impressive back in the limited carries that he's gotten, just because he's able to get those yards after contact. Takes the initial hit and is able to squeeze through a few more yards. That puts this team 2nd and 1. Good field position, and this team is rolling.
Hoyas show pressure. Wade out in the flat, has his man. It's Dorsey, and he has a first down. For that pass, Wade just had 193 through the air. But 14 for 34 before that pass, so not overly efficient. But all he needs is a touchdown here. He'll be doing his job. Another low snap, quick pass out in the flat. Again, Dorsey will be knocked out of bounds, but again has a nice 5-yard gain, maybe more. Dean on the coverage.
And you mentioned Wade, his struggles throughout this game, but what you're seeing here is that he's decisive. He's getting into position, he's making the reads, making the quick throws. Even when there's pressure on his face, like we saw the play before this, he's doing a nice job here on this drive.
So a 4-yard gain on the last play, 2nd and 6. Wade trying to find a man. Again, he goes to Dorsey. Again, he has the completion, this time about 2 yards short after a nice tackle by Lyons. Lions last week didn't do much against Bucknell. He's been a key part of this game. Scored touchdown on that pick 6 off the lateral from Wilson.
Zach Bowler, the right guard, just limped off the field. Interesting to see who they play and how this affects Georgetown's pressure.
Bowler got banged up last week against Fordham. Hoyas jump. And they're going to throw the flag finally. We're going to talk about this now. As Paul jumped, got back, and then the Holy Cross player reached out and touched him. They're going to say this is offside on Paul.
So where you let mental mistakes become physical ones, you see a team getting tired, getting desperate, start to have that sloppy play. You don't see them as aggressive now on the outside, flying up the field defensively. You don't see them aggressive on the perimeter, flying up to make plays on the ball. Now they're starting to jump offside. They really need a stop here in order to get things back to neutral if you're Georgetown.
Paul almost jumps again. Taylor's out there as well on the front. Remember, Tate injured in this game. Oliver getting to the outside. He's got some space, cuts it back. Bowers bangs him down, but he's inside the 15-yard line. And finally, Holy Cross's offense has got something going.
Big reason why is because number 44 for Georgetown is not on the field, and this is a different defense. They're not getting pressure. They're not holding the point. And Holy Cross is having their way.
Wade, Bowers takes him down. Again, Wes Bowers like a man possessed. Another huge hole, but Bowers closed it.
Now you see Christian Tate bounce on the field. This is a critical situation where they need their best guys out there. And I'm not saying that Mike Taylor isn't one of the key players up front, but they are a different defense when Christian Tate is out there. We'll see if Holy Cross sees how healthy he is by running his way to force him to get off a block.
Freshman Kamara's out there on the front. 2nd and 9. Wade. And he's hit from behind. Ball's loose. Do the Hoyas have it? They're on it, and they do! Georgetown's defense strikes again!
It's funny, even though Tate didn't make the play, him being out there on the field made this a different defense. Excellent job right there by Georgetown, just coming off the corner, getting the quarterback hit and forcing that fumble and jumping on it and giving their ball back to their offense, because this right here was a huge play by George Icott. Outstanding job by the sophomore linebacker.
We talk about the starting sophomore linebackers, Kessler, as well as Wes Bowers, Xavier Reddick. Icott's a guy who's playing – he's a star in his role, bursting, shot out of a cannon, able to make that game-changing turnover.
1st and 10. Still 4 minutes and 51 seconds left, so Georgetown's got to do something here. They're going to give the ball back to Holy Cross. Question is, how aggressive do they get? Again, the run on the play and nothing there at all for Moultrie.
Man, Teddy Capsis is putting together some great tape on both ends of offense. We've seen him as a pass rusher. We've seen him have success today stopping the run just like that particular play. You can't run at Capsis. You got to find other ways to have success. Where's Josh Tomas? Where's Michael Darius? Find ways to get those guys the ball in their hands.
Holy Cross playing those two deep safeties.
Scared money don't make none, man. You have to be aggressive here in trying to get the first down and not trying to play the clock. Try to get the first down. Don't try to run out the clock, because if you get first downs, everything else will take care of itself.
It looks like the Hoyas going to take a timeout, and they will. With just over 4 minutes left to go on the clock. Now, I'm going to throw this back at you. Joseph pointed this out earlier that really at one point Holy Cross could take the attitude, well, yeah, but their offense hasn't done anything. I feel like that's the same thing that Georgetown could say now is, well, they did this against our special teams. They really aren't moving the ball against our defense.
But now the focus turns to Georgetown. Like, wait a minute, we haven't done anything offensively. So we got to get it going. And we've been kind of hiding behind, almost like Coach Klein in the water boy with that green notebook. When that was taken away, he sort of dipped behind his sideline like good call plays. But Georgetown has to find a way to get first downs. And this situation is not about plays. You think players and not plays in situations like this. Who are my best players? Let me get them the football and let them do what best players do.
Your point is well taken, Jeremy. The one thing is, though, if this team goes 3 and out, what do they have to do? They have to line up to punt. So I agree with the fact they can't be running every single play. They're telegraphing it on first down. They've got to throw some quick passes to Tomas, to Darius, get them doing something after the catch.
They're going to run it here. Moultrie picking his way through, trying to pop, gets positive yardage, but most of that on his own, just kind of Barry Sandersing it and trying to pick his way up for a positive game, but still a 3rd and 9 here, as again, the clock will roll. Holy Cross not taking their timeouts yet.
Well, they know, just like you guys said, at some point Georgetown is going to have to punt. And that's what they're waiting on. They're just trying to play to 4th down because that's when they sit in the house. So if you're Georgetown, here's what you probably will see drawn up, a screen. Take advantage of this over-aggressive defense front 7 of Holy Cross.
Problem is, Ryan Brady seems to sniff it all out. Looks like the Crusaders bringing pressure. Johnson, quick pass, finds Darius, but he had to bobble it, couldn't go forward. And Holy Cross will take their timeout with Georgetown 3 yards short of the sticks.
I mean, I like that they found Darius, but you kind of want to see that on first down instead of trying to just run the ball against this defensive front that has now pinned their ears back and have gotten aggressive in their run fits and run pursuit, which is really stopping what they're trying to do on the ground.
Georgetown senior day for the Hoyas. And a list of guys, as Rob Scarlatta said, no quit in this senior class. And right now, if you're the Hoyas, you want to see these guys step up and really everybody step up and send these guys out with a win.
It's important, and we spoke to Coach Scarlatta on the week. He's a guy who's pretty even-keeled, but when we asked him about the senior class and what these guys have been through, he got a little bit emotional, and it's a credit to him and this staff, the way that they've built this program out, to have these seniors have this opportunity to be playing a big game in November. He wants to send these guys out the right way, and you know this team has battled gamely for 3+ quarters. Now is the time you need to close it out, first of all, by executing this punt and then getting the stop defensively.
Gina Cole is back, but you have to think Holy Cross is coming again. They've already got 2 for touchdowns. Hurst kicks it away, almost got another one. This one, not a good punt as he was trying to get it off. Got a good bounce. Dina Cole is going to pick it up, and will be brought down at the 25-yard line. Wanted to save the roll. So, again, it seems like it will come down to the Georgetown defense having to find a way to stop Holy Cross. Here it is, again, off the corner, and getting awfully close again was Corey Stefanik. So Tate is not out there. Front for the Hoyas, it's Kessler, joined by Duval Paul and Chincy Chinwoko. Running back in the backfield, it's Alexander. Wade out in the flat, incomplete, almost picked off by Agee. as DiNicola had it ricochet off his hands.
This game is way too wild for me, man. I wasn't expecting this wild of a football game for the last game of the season. I was trying to come in here and just Cadillac and maybe just ease into the offseason, but it's a little bit too wild for my blood pressure.
So again, the Hoyas defense seemingly a winning season on their racket right here. 3-man front. They'll bring an extra one out in the flat. Dorsey snags it. Looked like he almost dropped it. Was able to bring it in for a gain of 6.
Good precision pass there by Wade, getting it to Dorsey's outside shoulder. And Dorsey's made some big grabs here in this game for this Holy Cross team.
Yeah, nice little turn route right there. He was able to plant his foot in the ground and throw it out on time. Good timing right there by Wade and the receiver.
Clock continues to roll. Holy Cross has plenty of time. They have 2 timeouts left. As Wade fakes the run over the middle. Got Dorsey. He has the completion, has the first down, and has more. He's brought down across the 50.
Great individual effort right there by Dorsey, man. Just going over the middle of the field, using his body as his third hand to shield itself from the defender, going up on that skinny post, taking a couple shots and breaking tackles.
Now the Holy Cross Crusaders picking it up as we pass 2 minutes to go in the regulation. Touchdown, extra point wins it for him. Pressure comes. Kessler's there. Kessler brings him down.
Owen Kessler again off the edge. Came in with a sack and a half. Another sack for Kessler. Big time play, and it's like Duval Paul is down.
Yeah, Duval Paul is down, and that is a crucial double whammy for the Hoyas, guys. Not only do you lose one of your another starting lineman, but Holy Cross doesn't have to take a timeout to stop the clock.
Great job by Kessler, just dipping underneath that offensive tackle. They try to switch up protection there and get a guy out on the perimeter block him, but he's just so explosive off the football. It looked like Duval Paul's arm was – he was favoring that arm, that shoulder. Okay, so he's bouncing up now. But, yeah, what a great defensive play once again by Kessler. And if you're looking at this from a defensive perspective, and Coach Doherty, you talk about thinking players not plays. This is a situation where you're thinking, okay, my best players, put them in position to make plays. You see Holy Cross offensively is starting to do that. They're thinking players not plays, and they're getting guys to football that are very dynamic with the ball in their hands.
2nd and long, but still time and chances for Holy Cross. Pressure comes. Wade finds DiNicola, but he's well short of the sticks. Only a gain of 5. Holy Cross has to hustle. Now Paul's back out there. So they'll swap he and Taylor out. 3rd and 15 for Holy Cross. Boys again send pressure. Looking deep. And it will be, is it complete? It is! Wow, all the way down the field, it's Tienio Ieni.
What a grab by Ieni, the defender all over him, but he's able to keep his eye on the ball, bring it in, secure the catch. Big time play for Holy Cross. They're driving.
1:16 to go. Holy Cross with momentum, and they have timeouts. Wade looking deep again, has to pull it down. Now he'll throw out in the flat, finds a man. It's again Ieni for the completion, about 5 yards.
Ieni made a great reception on that previous play, tracking the football, going up at his highest point, and just wrestling away from the Georgetown defender.
Here's that awesome catch again.
Just outstanding right there.
We saw it earlier in the season against Campbell. Hoya defense did yeoman's work, but then gave up one late big play. You hope it doesn't happen to them again here. Inside the 20. Hoya's showing pressure. They don't come. Wade out in the flat. Has Dorsey. Has the first down. He's brought down, though, but the clock will stop on the completion.
Good job by Wade finding Dorsey. Dorsey, you talk about think players not plays. Dorsey has been the player on this drive for Holy Cross. It looked like Lyons, if he had turned his head around, could have made a play on it, but he's looking toward the receiver. 1st
and 10. Wade again looking that way to Dorsey, and he will be called pass interference. They go back that way, and Goldwire will be flagged.
And this is where confidence comes into play. Now Holy Cross's offense, their passing game, has confidence, and you see the corner go wide for Georgetown is starting to lack that confidence, and that's why they're going his way now, and it's going to get them a pass interference penalty, put them inside the 5-yard line.
It will be at the 2. So, again, the Hoya defense, such a great game. It's going to come down to them.
It's been the foundation of their season here defensively. Fitting that it comes down to a defensive stop here.
49 seconds to go. Remember, the Hoyas only have one timeout, so they can't really stop the clock. They just have to play defense or turn it over. Wade throws and almost picked off. Would have saved the game, but Brown couldn't hold on to it.
Unbelievable. You don't make blind throws over the middle of the field. This is unbelievable. It's nice zone blitz call right there by Georgetown. That's the play that you have to make. Make the plays that are there to be made. That's one that could have ended the football game, but now you have to come out here and play 3 more downs at least.
So Alexander's the back in the backfield. Let's see if they go to the ground this time. They will. Alexander up the middle, and he's in for the score, and an extra point away from a huge comeback completed for Holy Cross.
Unbelievable game here we have at Cooper Field. 31-5, Holy Cross was down and slowly fought their way back into this ball game and now find themselves tied with less than a minute to play. That's how big the dropped interception was the play before. That's why you have to make the plays that are there to be made.
So Ing on here as the Hoyas looking for the block. They've got one earlier this year. Can they get one here? Movement up front. That'll blow it dead, and Ing's kick through. And again, if you're the Hoyas, it really doesn't hurt you here because they're not going to go for 2. You try and get them to jump if you can. Now, Holy Cross is running off the field. There's no way. There was contact made. That should be at least a re-kick. So they're going to have to try it again. Holy Cross thought they had it. Instead, they're going to have to kick it again. Again, if you're Hoyas, there's no point. It's not, you're not going to go for 2 here. You jump, you try and guess the count if you can. So Ing will try it again. Here it goes, and it is up, and Ing comes through, and Holy Cross has come all the way back from 26 down in the 3rd quarter to take a 1-point lead.
Huge kick by Ing in a pressure-packed situation. I think to the play made by Tenio Ayeni on a well behind the sticks to be able to make a clutch play like that, that really changed the course of this game, giving an opportunity for Holy Cross to just get in the red zone and score. Also the composure of a guy like Jeff Wade, under fire all game, and for him to be able to step back into the drive as we take a look at some of the highlights from this past drive.
Again, the Crusaders with that amazing catch by Annie off the great coverage to get them down in position after the Hoyas had the big sack by Kessler, put Holy Cross in long yardage. Then the Crusaders, again, went back to Dorsey, and Emery, as you said, just a little bit concerned there by Goldwire. He holds the almost game-ending pick by the senior Brown, and then Alexander punches it in to tie the game, and then Ing with the extra points to put them ahead. So 42 seconds left, 1 timeout, but the Hoya offense really not done much of anything today. We'll see how Holy Cross plays this. Wilkinson with the squib. He's going to get it to Lyons, going to get past him, and he's going to let it into the end zone where he'll take the knee. The Hoyas will have it at the 25-yard line. They need to get into field goal range. Of course, we've seen before Hoyas struggled in the kicking game this year. So, again, if Emory, where are you going here if you're the Hoyas?
Tomas, Darius. It's two players that haven't really touched the football a lot in this ball game if you're Georgetown. Think Tomas, think Darius, think Moultrie out on the perimeter. Everyone else, it's been a great job so far this ball game, but you have to really think your best players in this ball game, and he has Tomas and Darius lined up on the same side of the field.
Here we go. Moultrie's the back in the backfield. Johnson trying to elude pressure, throws it out, and Darius can't make the catch as Johnson on the run. Ball got away from him. That would have been the play they needed to kind of start the drive off and get out of bounds. Remember, clock stops in college, so if you get past the sticks, they'll stop the clock to reset them. Jackson's out there, Tomas as well, along with Williams and Darius. Holy Cross playing deep. Over the middle, that one is incomplete, looking for Tomas on the quick slant.
Holy Cross's safeties are playing shallow, and so they're trying to play close up to try to stop any quick pass and any type of lateral situation. So if you can slip Tomas down the hash, there is an opportunity to pop a big play here because he has one-on-one coverage out there in the slot, but it has enough room to get past that safety.
Four-man rush. Johnson over the middle, and that's going to be picked off, floated over the head of Darius. And going down is Riley, and Holy Cross completes the amazing comeback from down 26 to beat the Hoyas in D.C.
What an excellent comeback by Holy Cross, and you can't really put that on Darius. I know Darius wanted to go up for it, but didn't know who was behind him. But that's just a play where Johnson really has to get that ball down. He had time back there in the pocket, but just a great defensive play by Holy Cross, just coming all the way back in this ball game and finding a victory.
I believe a Holy Cross assistant may have picked up a penalty, saying something to the referee on the field. But won't matter as Holy Cross will snap it twice. Georgetown will take one of their timeouts, and that will do it.
Well, this is why when you have an opportunity, you have a lead, you have to continue to stay aggressive. You can't get super conservative and try to drain the clock. There's no 14-minute clock draining. You have to find ways to stay aggressive offensively, and that's what allowed Holy Cross back into this ball game.
Well, two block punts for touchdowns allowed them back in the game. So that's going to do it as Rob Scarlatta won't take the timeout, and Holy Cross and Georgetown will finish in a tie for second in the Patriot League, but it is a bitter tie for the Hoyas as they blow the lead and fall to Holy Cross 32-31 here on Senior Day.
Let's go right into highlights.
Let's take a look at our highlights in this one. And again, we see Holy Cross really had trouble on the offensive end. This was a fantastic play by Bowers. Emory looked like he was going to put the game away.
Yeah, right there. 2 pick sixes in the ball game, and anytime your defense can score, not just once but twice, you should be in good shape.
And the Hoyas got pinned deep, and again, the Holy Cross defense really never got gashed except for that opening drive. They would take advantage. Dorsey with the amazing catch here, Joseph.
Well, Dorsey is a guy, when we talked, it's senior day for both teams. When we talked to Coach Chesney, he told us Dorsey, he was the first guy he mentioned, came up big there.
You can see the Hoyas figure out a way to get the ball moving a little bit, but this was the first one. Hurst with the slow delivery, and Holy Cross all over it. Remember, folks, they blocked 2 kicks against BC. That's Boston College, pretty good D1 team earlier this season. They get one there for a touchdown. Again, they would go for 2, wouldn't be able to score on this one. So you're the Hoyas, you say, okay, we're okay, not a big deal. But you would see Holy Cross again try to go deep, but the Hoya defense playing very well, Emory.
Yeah, just finding ways to stay around the football, and sometimes they pick it off, sometimes they don't. They get a great job right there, batting it away.
But the Hoyas couldn't get anything going on offense, and again, another punt, another block punt, and another run back for Holy Cross. As they're able to run that one, this time it was the backup running back Oliver, cut it down to a 1-score game. Hoyas, though, still kind of hanging in there on the defensive end. As Holy Cross, though, Oliver, one of the guys, all that juice, you could see that, Joseph, as they started kind of getting things going. Again, Holy Cross, big play here. Loose ball, thought the Hoyas might have locked it up there.
Really did, but it comes down to what Emery talks about, being conservative. If you're running on first down every play, not an efficient play, and the defense can key on what you're doing, guys like Tate Capsis up front really did a good job stopping the run.
But Dorsey again coming up with big plays, and then La Hoya's again, Emery would find a way on defense, put them in long yardage.
Man, it was their defense that got them the lead, that kept them in the ball game, but ultimately that dropped interception by the defense is what cost them the ball game.
One of the plays of the game, Ianni with the amazing catch, gold wiring coverage, somehow comes down with that football to keep the drive alive off a 3rd and 15. Holy Cross again would go deep. This will be the pass interference, and then you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a fait accompli, but almost right here, Joseph.
Almost. That's the game. That's the play that could have been. As you see, the interception is just missed by a hair. Tough break for Georgetown.
And then Alexander would punch it in to give the Crusaders the lead. Ing would cash in on the extra point. Hoyas with one last chance trying to get their offense going. Sales Darius picked off on the play by Riley, and Holy Cross able to kneel it out and come away with an amazing comeback victory in this contest against the Hoyas. You see a happy bunch of Crusaders, a tough loss for Georgetown in this one. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone who's brought you this broadcast. Also my partners today, Joseph Nasser, Emery Hunt, and of course our partner throughout the year, Mike Niebrick. I'm Jeremy Huber saying goodbye from Georgetown. Holy Cross with the 32-31 win over the Hoyas. Good afternoon, everybody.